This is not Ricky's podcast.
I'm ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been held hostage for the past 40 minutes. A conversation with Mank and Carlos. Let me just bring us back on here because these two have had a podcast in themselves. Sitting here. Hold a second. Let me click on that again. What is going on there? There we go. Bringing it up slowly. Yes, we are all on screen together.
What's up?
Oh, my God. If y'all could hear what I've been listening to for the past 45 minutes.
What we've all been listening to.
Hey. Hey, look, and at night, we'll all be friends.
We were friends when we walked in. I consider ourselves friends when we walk out.
There it is right there. Joseph Mank, how you doing?
Good to see you, Mr. Williams.
Shake your hand. Left hand right here, too, as well.
What's up?
Thank you. I didn't use the same hand. I didn't want any trouble.
There you go.
All right? I ain't in trouble for the both of y'all. So let's just get right to it. Before we do, give me a second. Let me do some housekeeping work. Just move that over there. And Pascal, how you doing too as well?
What's
Everybody
up,
out there,
Pascal?
Charles County, how's it going tonight? We're in a brand new location, first and foremost. Before we do anything, all thanks to my man Brian Cooper of Cooper Construction. Cooper Construction for lending us his space for the night. Thank you very much, sir. We got coffee, we got water here. The space is great. How's the air quality?
Amazing.
It's amazing. It's nice and cool in here.
Yeah, if y'all been in the shed, there's a bathroom here too as well. We got everything you need. As far as audio too as well, obviously we're at a different location. Please let me know if you can hear me well. If we have any issues at any time, please pass it in the chat. I don't have the headphones on, so it'll be easier just to kind of run the podcast without it. No Deb tonight, no AJ tonight, just three of us. Mank, Carlos. Now, can someone explain to me why the hell I've been summoned here to do this damn podcast? All right. Carlos, you go first.
Sir. All right.
I've been on
Wonderful.
the phone talking to both y'all. Y'all want to have a conversation. Y'all want the platform. Hey,
I mean, I'd say age before beauty, so go ahead, Carlos.
Lord, we're starting out crazy already. So, yes. So the reason that we're here is to, one, talk about the legislative proposals that have been throughout the Charles County Commissioners.
Right.
As Ricky said before in the announcement about this, just talk about overall Charles County events, what's going on, what's happening. And I would also say what we're also going to be talking about is just overall Charles County politics. May hear a few hot takes, may hear some few opinions that we didn't know about. So I'm excited, Ricky. Thank you for this.
I am too as well. And this is a conversation. It's not a debate night, not 2 minutes, go back and forth, but if y'all want rebuttal anytime, I agree anytime. Look, I'm just here to sit back and represent the good people of Charles County, and we're going to go right into it. So we, let's take it back a second. We saw each other at the Juneteenth event too as well.
We did.
Opinions on it? Any things you'd like to see for next year too as well?
Personally, if I could start here since you started before, honestly, I was only there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It looked like things kicked off a little more later towards the end. It looked like it was a lot of fun. To me, I think it would have been, in my opinion, what I'd like to see maybe next time around, maybe there'd be a little more some more vendors. I think maybe the vendor representation was a little light. I definitely want to thank the committee. I think they did a great job. I also personally enjoyed the music that was up. The performances that they had, and I also enjoyed, the speeches as well. I mean, there was. I like the fact that we had some elected officials there. It seemed to be a little bit of everybody there that showed up at least at some point. Potential candidates. There were also some other people there as well. So,
hey, I like it. You smoothly just threw the plug in there too as well. You almost got away with it too.
But my thing is, I like the fact deep down. I think what I really enjoyed about the Charles County, I know there was another event in Indian Head that I did not get to make. I really like the fact the community was well represented across the board. It just wasn't so much about Juneteenth. It was more about the community coming together. That's what I really took from it. And not just Juneteenth. I like to see more events that the community comes together despite political or any other type of particular differences. Our community coming together makes our community stronger.
What you got, Los?
No, I think it was really, really nice. Definitely a great way, but the one thing I love is that it's not just, hey, let's go out, have a party, all that. It's an aspect of it is teaching people about Juneteenth, why we celebrate it, why it's important, and not just, not just enjoying things. One thing, shout out to Diotha Sweat for singing. I didn't know she had the voice on her like that, so shout out to her for that. But it was really an awesome event. Look forward to it next year.
Before I go in, Pascal, I think I already said what's up. Zebby, what's going on?
What's up, Pascal?
Kelly, how you doing
What's
too
up,
as well?
Zebby? Oh, I like this.
I know as far as being what we were supposed to be live on Saturday, promise alive, but there was the sound quality things. There's music going on. We can get hit with the copyright too as well. That's why last year I pretty much just went around on the phone. I didn't want any issues as far as strikes against the channel live on YouTube and on Facebook too as well. As far as Juneteenth, if I can, I like to throw my name in the hat for the committee for next year. There's certain things I like to see differently.
Shout out to you.
I would like to see more of an evening event too as well. I'd like to see more activities as far as families and kids.
I mean, you got 3 children, so
yeah.
that's a good idea. Get the kids involved.
Yeah, I mean, you get something. I mean, Reggie. Shout out to Reggie with Southern Maryland youth flag football. Maybe get him involved with something, a small little tournament, basketball tournament, maybe some 3v3, a game of truck. I don't know. Evening time too is where you can have people. I don't know, some cookouts. A park. Maybe somewhere by the water. I know facilities in Charles County, minis ain't really like that. I mean, make it like a nighttime evening event too as well.
Maybe we should partner with the Parks Department on that because we have
pop off some fireworks. You know what I mean,
we got to partner with the Parks on that. But Parks, so I'll definitely say this. I agree with what you're saying on that. I think we need to make it more community inclusive, having the kids involved, the families involved, and I'm going to double down on what Carlos mentioned. And we have a lot of people that in our society that may not remember history or may not study history. Or
choose to believe the wrong history.
Choose to believe it too. And Carlos, I'm actually anybody who's big on history. I believe that part of respecting history is learning history, so don't repeat history. And I think to me that's a big part of Juneteenth. Is we don't repeat the history, but we need to get more of that education part involved. And we could do that on multiple levels. We do that with the kids, with the games. We can also do that with the grown-ups, with the music and the cultural things. I did see some cultural music, some dances up there at the last event. So we can double down on that, maybe enhance that a little bit. I think we can also serve what Carlos was talking about, is kind of enhance that history side too.
Yeah, I just want to see more of a and I'm for all that too as well. I want to see more of a celebration of it. It's an Independence Day, right?
It is, but it's going to double back to make sure we don't need to have another Independence Day too. So I hate to go negative like that, but
look, we ain't doing all that. But
absolutely not.
Yeah, but I want to progress the event going forward. But no, shout out to the community for obviously for bringing awareness to it. But I think going forward, and I've said it right here, I'll throw my name in the hat to be a part of that. I got some ideas, things I may present on here. I think someone said Zebby said a 2-day event, kicking off on a Friday night.
Absolutely.
I'm with you.
That'd be awesome. Dance
studio performances. There was some performative dance that was there too as well. But yeah, just more things as far as a county, community, or just Juneteenth Black-owned business getting involved in different things that could be offered. Open bar too as well, or a cognac tasting, a wine tasting. I mean, look, I asked for too much. Just get a little wristband.
You're talking to 2 politicians here. Maybe we can go ahead and work out some kind of lobbyist deal.
I am not a politician. I will say that now.
All right, enough. All right, so we
it's from Ricky. That way is the politician.
Oh my God. So let's get right to it. So Joseph Mank, it's been a while since you've been on the podcast, man. Last time you were on here was it was a very interesting show.
It was a show to say the least.
What has happened since that? Obviously, you had the election. You didn't win, but you're still on the. Looks like you're back on the trail already.
I mean, I got some ancillary benefits from it. I mean, something I try to remind myself about quite a bit. 15 months ago, not too many people knew who I was. Now I have access to things I didn't have before. People know who I am. I actually get recognized in the community quite a bit. I'm at almost not every meeting, but some of the things that I've spoken on or spoken against have actually made it into policy. I didn't have that access 15 months ago. Before I gave what I believe was a very good speech, I believe on the 20th of May, I got to go up to Lisa's office and have a quick chat with her in her office. A year ago, Sherry Hancock probably didn't even want me in the building. Actually, I think we talked about that. So again, things have changed for me. I believe things are moving upward for me in my ability to possibly serve the community and continue to rise. That's the whole goal, is to rise. So things are different. So I didn't win the election, and I've said this actually to Lisa directly, and I've said this to other people. I'm glad I lost, because guess what? I wouldn't have learned anything. If I would have won, I would have thought I knew everything, and I wouldn't have learned anything. But the fact that I lost, I had the time to reflect, get humble, research some things, make some good friends that can put me on the path to success. So guess what? We have an election here coming up next year, and we have another one coming up 3 years from now. As long as I'm alive and kicking, I'm going to keep fighting.
And keep running for office.
No. I mean, I'm not going to mention any names. There was a gentleman that I think has ran for office every election cycle since I think 1988 or something like that.
There you go.
Very profitable to run for office.
I do know we did have a candidate last time around was paying themselves from their campaign. So, I mean, I guess it depends on what office you're in. You can definitely do that.
Oh,
so,
hey.
I'm not dropping any names. It's too early in the cast for that.
Wait till a little bit later. Okay. All right. We'll come back to that. We'll try to that.
Hey, I'm not grabbing a mic. There's 2 other people here.
All right. So let's go. Let's circle with what we want to start with first. So both of you have been in these legislative proposal meetings. There's been some agreements between the 2 of you. Been some disagreements. Carlos, take the mic.
I'm waiting to hear the agreements, but no, actually, no. It's been some wonderful, wonderful proposals that have been put up by just a myriad of community members. From all different ideologies, from different political spectrums. It's been really, really amazing. I don't know which one. Did you want to go just down the list, Ricky, from the first one down to the last one? Or
So let's
how you want to do it?
Let's start at the top. All right. So there's one that Mank, you have had some disagreements with Carlos on.
Oh yeah, start with
Carlos, just work with that one right there.
Which one are we talking
I'll let
about?
you-
I think there was a couple.
I'll let you choose whichever one you would like to start
Let's
with.
go with the one that Carlos and I definitely disagree on. There is no, there's nothing in between. There's no middle ground here. Let's talk about natural gas. Go ahead, Carlos.
No, I would go ahead. Please tell me what your.
I mean, the same thing I said in the meeting.
explain.
I'm going to parrot myself.
What's your issues,
I guess politicians do that quite a bit. I'm just going to parrot myself.
Hold on. You keep referring to yourself as a politician. You have to win office to be a politician.
No. Definition of a
Ooh,
politician
I mean-
is someone who strives for it to obtain a political position by the definition of the word.
a serial political runner.
But no, my point is getting back to this is that natural gas, I mean, it's really simple. The science is there. It's cleaner than oil. It's cleaner than oil. What are we going to replace it with? When it comes to energy solutions, we need a basket because right now we can't completely rely on nuclear. We can't completely rely on solar. We can't completely rely on hydro. We cannot completely rely on wind. It needs to be a basket. So for us just to go ahead and cut a leg out of that 6 or 7 leg table right there, it's going to be very hard to adjust because it'll be very costly. And I know there was a lot of things said about solar at that particular meeting that we're speaking about. It is costly. It is manufactured overseas mostly. There's a lot of materials that go into the manufacturing process. The solar panels, silica is one of them. That rips the earth to mine silica. So there's a lot of factors to kind of think about, hey, we're just going to ban this and we're going to rely on this. If we do that, it's not wise. It's going to create a lot of economic and other types of hardships, and I don't think it's feasible or possible. Now, like I mentioned in the meeting, we start talking about a phase-in program. We're gonna go from 8%, 12%, 15%, 20%. It's kind of like what we did with the Fight for 15. They didn't say we're going straight to $15 an hour. They said we're going to go to 10, and then we're going to go to 11, then we're going to go to 13, then we're going to go to 14, then we're going to. So we got to phase it in. Give it time to get seated without it being just an all of a sudden change. I do believe we should be leaning more towards renewable energy sources. Absolutely.
Los.
But right now, hold on.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hey.
I was just going to say, if you look at
are not up, sir.
we're going to hit
Good.
now. Let's go down to the efficiency of current solar technology. And Carlos, I'd like you to speak on this because right now, given our current manufacturing process of solar panels, it's nowhere near where it can be.
Comment section. We're going to be after Los get his his topic.
So what I'm getting to is that we just can't go straight to it. I think it's a great idea. Should we do it tomorrow? No. Should we do it in 2030? Yeah. But getting rid of natural gas overnight, I don't see it happening. I take that back. I don't see it being smart happening. Tell everybody who has gas in their home to heat during the winter to immediately switch to oil and go ahead and pay for that massive increase to heat their home every winter when we have rising inflation and the middle class barely exists anymore. So go ahead and legislate that.
Is it my turn now? Or
Yeah.
I was just waiting.
Comments. I see. We'll get there.
So I guess let me start out from the beginning just of the proposal itself. The proposal from what it sounds like you're saying, the proposal would make it so everyone has to switch over from what they currently have, which is not what the proposal states. The proposal is stating about new construction that they're building. So let's say December 31st, 2023. You would have, if you're a developer and you're going to build a housing complex and you've already had all your documents filled out, signed. We're not saying those houses you need to draw up new documents, go through the planning process at all. We're talking about new development. So starting January 2024, if the policy move forward the way it's written, that if January 1st, I say, okay, I'm a developer, I want to build a neighborhood in X area. Then I would have to draw up plans that relies it on renewable energy. Now, I said electric. If you want to also bring in wind, if you want to also bring in other things, fine. The problem is, so that's one. The second thing is for you to make. Hold on.
Did you say electric? I just want to define. Did you say electric?
Oh, on the policy, yeah.
So heat pump, right?
On the policy, it was electric.
On heat pump,
it was electric. It was
okay, I just want to make sure I heard that right. Keep going.
No, it was electric. The thing.
Y'all want a pen and pad to keep each other's notes?
No, I've already got it going right here.
So, one, when we look at it, it is the environmentally responsible thing to do to transition off of fossil fuels and natural gas and non-renewable resources. If we just look and say, okay, well, natural gas is safer than coal, I mean, is it as dirty as coal? No. Is it still a bad source of energy? Yes, it is a bad source of energy.
Coal? That's the question.
Hold on. Is it a bad source of energy? Yes. We cannot keep looking at our environmental problem when we see temperatures are rising more, sea levels are rising, when we know that climate change is real, and we both agree on that, right?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So we can't just keep looking at the solution like, okay, well, by 2050, then maybe we'll transition out. And it's to your point that you mentioned the minimum wage. Yes, you had the fight for 15 that raises it over.
Which I supported.
I support raising it higher than 15, but yes. But the problem is, if we say we're going to go from now to 5 years, we're at $15 an hour. By the time that 5 years is up, 15 isn't the minimum wage where you can still live off of. It's higher than that. People have already said, if you really take the minimum wage, what it should be around now is like between $20 and $25. So even this fight for 15 for 5 years from now, no one can live off of that anyway. So we need to stop looking at climate change as like, okay, I just think people are going to be upset about not having a gas stove. People were upset when they found out they have to have seatbelts to drive a car. People were upset when they couldn't drink and drive. Yes, I get that you're upset, but when you explain to people not just the environmental effects, but the health concerns as well, because there's multiple studies that come out to say you have kids breathing that in is horrible. You've had people get asthma. You've had people whose stoves or just houses have exploded because of gas leaks and things like that.
I'd like to
you
see
have
a news article
electric.
for that.
You have electric. I would love to see just electric just combust because of electricity. That's the thing. It is multiple reasons. One, to transition. It's multiple.
Oh, easy.
Right.
I'm still a little sore, my guy.
Right. It's multiple reasons to transition
Construction.
off of non-renewable energy sources, and it's all positives to go towards us moving towards solar, wind, and renewable energy sources. One for the future, because we got to make sure it's not just livable on the earth here for us. It's livable for 5 generations down the road as well.
Okay, I'm glad that I didn't mean to spin it into this, but I'm glad you talked about the minimum wage and the fight for 15, because that's something I supported.
Hold
I was like 13 years ago.
I don't want to get too off.
No, we're not getting off, Pat. I'm circling right back.
All right.
So, I hate to do a Jen Psaki, but I'm going to circle right back. But here's the thing. We have a collapsing middle class right now. And when trust me, I'm dead middle class, dead center middle class, and I have issues. My girlfriend has issues sometimes because everything's going up. But when I was married, I lived in 2 different places. One had a heat pump. One was natural gas. Anytime you've paid an electric bill that has a heat pump during the winter, especially a cold winter, you know your electric bill's through the roof. And then when you actually live someplace else that has natural gas, I've had natural gas most of my life. My heating bill's almost not saying nothing, but it's marginal compared to that heat pump. You also have to understand that the majority of electricity comes from coal. So now we're replacing something that is cleaner, actually one of the cleanest non-renewable energy sources we can have, with a non-renewable energy source. Sorry, with a even more dirtier or not so clean energy source. But I also talk about the economic cost. So now instead of your heating cost being $100 a month, now it's going to $250, $300. You talk to somebody who can't pay for their medications, people who are on insulin, diabetes. That's not their fault. This is not something that people sign up to have diabetes and eat insulin. This stuff costs money. So now we're squeezing that middle class. Talk about good working people that go to work, take care of their families. So now we are putting legislation in place that is going to put more of an economic burden on them. Now, I'm going to double back and agree with you. There is a documentary I saw a couple of years ago during the pandemic when I had more time on my hands than I do now. It's called 2050. And it's very more liberal than normally the way I like to view things. But I will say this, it was absolutely right.
That's another thing I hope that we define
I'm a man
that.
of science, Carlos. And there's something that is solid. The more crap we put in that air when it comes to carbon, the more crap ends up in our water. When I mean the oceans. And that affects our food supply, that affects our climate. So we do need to reduce our carbon emissions a lot, and I agree with you on that. But we also need to do it in a responsible way where we don't put people in the streets or we don't make people choose between food, medicine, or if they can heat their home with their small children in their houses.
Okay, so on that point too.
After that, I'm going to the comment section.
Definitely. On that point too, let's go back around to what I said beginning is that I'm not saying that this house that we're in now, we're going to make them transition off of whatever, if it's natural gas, coal, whatever this house.
So now we're going to reduce the number of homes people
What we're
want to buy.
talking about is for new houses that are being built. And also, look at it too. If you live in a house that has electric and gas, you're paying two bills anyway. You're still going to have to pay a gas bill. It's not like if I have gas, it's free for anyone. But also, hold on. And let's also go to start having more initiatives to give people solar panels so they can start using that to power their own houses. So it's not just reliant on, okay, let's have coal to put up the energy grid. Let's start having people use solar to give back to their own energy so they can reduce their costs on their bills as well. And when you talk about the amount of money people use to get solar panels and things like that, the state and the federal government combined with legislation that has been passed recently, if you go out and get a solar panel, you can get like 55% of that money back that you spend on that solar panel as well because of state and federal tax rebates on it as well. But then also we can't look at climate change and say like, oh, it's just, that's just quick turnaround. I mean, climate change is a quick thing that has been happening. It's actually been happening over a myriad of years, but as we see, every single year, the climate is getting worse at a more accelerated rate as well. This is something we need. Tipping point. This is something we need to solve. Not tomorrow, honestly, not even today. We need to have solved it probably 2-3 years ago.
I mean, I agree.
Pause it right there.
Yeah, we got comments. Sorry, pause.
Yeah, pause it right there. Not that you two, hey, first of all, go back and forth, very civil. I'm glad I'm sitting in the middle, though. Very happy.
It's always civil on this side.
Oh,
Carlos normally sits behind me at the meeting, so I mean, there hasn't been any issues there. So I always forget though where he's sitting. Though I'm always pointing in the wrong direction.
All right, so a couple questions here.
You're more caught up than I am.
Yeah, I got you here. This question for you. If, by the way, comment section too. So you got questions anytime about anything, feel free just to drop it in there. We'll get to it as soon as able. So, Mank, question for you. Don't answer it right now. Just think about it. What are your energy solutions that are environmentally friendly and sustainable for us as a planet? Pascal's asking.
Pascal.
Pascal says, great points, Carlos. Reading is key. We'll be trying to comprehend legislation. Such policies are already standard in other states. Michaela, how you doing?
What's up, Michaela?
Green energy is already being used. All we need is to do expand. We're going to expand it because we can't do it, but because politicians care more about donors than us.
She's kind of right about that.
Michaela, most places don't even use gas stoves because they're dangerous.
I like
Pascal dropped the article that you asked for. You asked for an article. It's like a Thanos snap. I mean, she dropped it almost immediately. Half the planet
Give
was
her credit for that.
Yep. And Michaela says, make utilities public owned and the cost of electricity won't be an issue. SMECO shouldn't be the monopoly of power in Southern Maryland.
Who said that?
Michaela.
I agree with Michaela. We're on agreeing with Michaela train right now.
So, question for you, Joseph W. Mank. What are your energy solutions that are environmentally friendly and sustainable?
That's coming from a Smalls.
Just a small. I think it's an S at the end.
Yeah, there's no S. I'm sorry.
Not like Biggie Smalls.
I don't know, but I would say that
Wait, what?
given our technology right now with solar, and I'm going to double down on what Carlos said, I think that is a good solution.
Somebody tag Manny. Go on, keep talking.
We gotta refine that manufacturing process. We gotta invest in the technology to get the solar efficiency up in our panels. It's not so much about. I think Smecco has a solar farm down there in Hughesville. I don't know the type of panels those are, but I'm pretty sure their efficiency rate somewhere between 12 and 18%. We need to get that efficiency rate up. If we can get that efficiency rate maybe closer to 30 or 40 through technological advancements, then we can invest more in solar and stop leaning on natural gas and stop leaning so much maybe on oil. I know in the backwoods of this county, down in District 2, mostly, not mostly, but there's a number of folks out there that rely on oil because that's pretty much all they can get. Also with solar, we're going to talk about District 2 for a second because this is something I'm kind of interested in. I'm kind of an eye in District 2. I actually spent some time down in District 2 speaking to the community.
Are we naturally changing the topic here?
No, I'm not.
Right.
I'm talking about District 2 because they're in the woods. So, we got to lean on solar here for a second.
It was smooth, but
Right.
as the man of this transitions myself, I recognize one quickly.
I would say that when we start talking about solar,
maybe you are a
we
politician.
also have to start thinking.
Oh, Lord.
We also have to start
All right,
thinking
Ricky, watch
about. We have to start thinking about the fact that if you're in the backwoods of Charles County, how's solar going to work for them? Because they don't. I know there's a website. I don't know if there's a website that shows you how your suitability for solar panels are. So again, it's a good solution. Now to go ahead and get back to the root question. Honestly, Pascal, I believe that there needs to be a lot more research done. I'm not saying we need to stick to what's working or what we're using. It probably isn't working the way we want it to at the moment. There needs to be more research done. If I was going to do anything, I would invest heavily in the manufacturing process and technology of solar. I would also look more into the feasibility of wind. I do know that there is a certain segment of certain political affiliations in this country that seem to like saying, "Oh, you put up windmills and wind energy farms, you're going to start killing birds." We just started looking into that feasibility too. So. No, it's true, Carlos. Honestly, that is a big thing. People say don't put up wind farms because you're going to start murdering birds. I think that's
what Trump
nonsense.
was saying.
I think him and another crazy Republican was saying it too. So
I know that's the talking point.
I think the guy was the governor from Florida. I'm not sure.
Uh-oh.
But the point is that we need to do more research. Our path is solar. That's why I agree with Carlos on this. I just don't think it should be an immediate thing. It needs to be a phase-in thing, and we need to invest in that technology and that manufacturing process.
So wait a second. Not to just get a comment too as well.
Yeah, we're staying on comments.
Yeah, because Pascal, she gets to respond back to your question.
Of course, she gets the rebuttal.
I mean, she said District 2 still gets sun. I mean, there are trees here, but we're not.
What's the suitability of it? That's the question. And we trust the science. I mean, honestly, go to VNet. I'm not saying it right, but there's a number of solar companies that service Charles County and DC metro area. On their websites, they will tell you what your suitability is for solar. So let's just punch in some addresses and see what the suitability is. Because again, we're talking about we're changing from a solid solution for heating and energy to a maybe not so solid solution. So let's do some research. I'm not saying anybody's wrong or anybody's right, and we shouldn't try. I'm talking science here, and I think at the very least, I'm going to double back on my own thing. We need to start working on that technology to make those solar panels more efficient.
I got two
If we doubled the
questions for
solar
that.
efficiency down Smecco has down in Hughesville, that would be a huge change. And that's just talking, I don't know how big that solar farm is, but that would just be a huge change in itself. So double down on the technology, Pascal.
I have two kind of questions for you now. One, are you saying that natural gas is a solid solution currently? Like it's great for people to continue using it? And two, what
So
would
we have
your
anything
idea,
better, yes.
And two, when do you think we would need to transition off of it? Like what's your time frame that you're thinking of?
Depends on the resources and where they come from, and this is above the county. I could get elected to county commissioner and be friends with the other four and pass legislation at whim. And I don't think that we're going to be able to legislate this at the county level. This is going to at least have to come from the state level. This has to come from Annapolis. And again, CT, Dr. Patterson, and Ms. Davis, I'm not trying to step on your toes here, but this is going to probably have to come from Annapolis for us to legislate this. Again, I'm not very familiar with what happens with the Board of Commissioners, but this is probably going to have to come from a higher group. But right now, natural gas is it's not the best. It's what we have that is the best currently. And I'm going to, again, keep going back to the efficiency of the solar panels that we have now. Manufacturing processes, get that efficiency up. If we doubled the efficiency we had right now in Hughesville, it would make a huge difference. Now, what you're talking about, Carlos, is you're mentioning that we're going to put in new homes. Not worry about the homes that already exist. That's great. But now you're also going to
at a certain point, we're going to need to transition.
But your initial plan is we're going to do it we're going to do it for the new homes. Now you're going to create a break in that market where now people are saying, I don't want that. Or I live in a place where there's not a lot of sunlight and I'm not going to pay that extra price for those solar panels. So now you're creating creating a break in the market by the legislation. And I don't think the builders, I don't think the neighborhood associations, once they get, I don't think they're going to like that, because now they're going to have empty homes. They're not going to be able to build homes or sell homes, and then you're going to create a huge bubble on the existing homes.
Wait, so are you?
Why
saying,
do you think during go.
So are you saying that?
Real quick before you answer to as well,
Sorry, go ahead.
let's start evolving this conversation to other proposals too as well. I won't get stuck on this too long.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Okay,
But no. I mean, answer that, and then we'll go from there.
definitely.
Yeah,
So-
that's fine. I got no sound.
So one, if you have new homes that are being built, that's all just electric. You are not going to see this big push of, okay, we're not buying homes in Charles County because I want my home to be 100% gas powered. You're not going to see that. It's just like when you see areas that, I know this is a different, this actually could be a good segue. Hold on.
Does 100% gas home exist?
Hold on. This could be a wonderful segue too. It's just like when you see areas that have rent stabilization, you're not going to say, okay, no one will ever build a single apartment complex or rent out a single piece of property because I won't make a profit. You're going to have developers, even if they build full on all electric housing, people are still going to want to buy it. People are still going to want to live in that area. You may well have a lot of people who say, oh, I definitely want to move to Charles County because I believe that climate change is real. I am environmentally friendly. I understand the effects of natural gas and of coal. So I don't want to live in a house that has those things. Also, you have some people who would instead, if they bought a house that was powered by gas or coal, have to pay the money to transition it to all electric as well. So that's saving them money from going ahead and doing that as well. But I believe I made a good transition over to rent stabilization, but I don't know if that's where we
tried
want
it.
to go.
I want to give a 15. I'm going to pretend I'm in front of the Board of Commissioners a moment. I'm going to take a 15-second. I'm going to take a 15-second. I'm not trying to make any hits or
Where's that
or
person
cuts
with that
out.
little bell at?
Hey, it's just us here.
I'm going to go ahead and take a 15-second rebuttal.
Oh my God.
So
Lord.
you're basically telling me that people are going to choose to pay another $30,000 or $40,000 for the exact same square footage, exact same amenities, bathrooms, bedrooms, built in the same room, same type of flooring, cabinets, counters, everything. They're going to pay willingly $30,000 or $40,000 more for the solar panels over the house that does not have the solar panels, is what you're telling me. Willingly.
That's you saying that it's going to cost $30,000 or $50,000.
Okay, if it costs $10,000, they're going to pay more.
You're saying
Let's just
that
cut
it's
the
costing
dollar
more.
amount out. Let's just say more. How many people are willingly going to pay more for the same thing except the panels on the roof?
I mean, isn't it already happening now?
What's going to do is we're just going to do it. No,
Wait, don't you
what
have
he's
people
trying to
putting
do is
solar panels-
legislate. He's trying to
hold up.
legislate the panels on the roof. So
you
you're
say-
talking about new home build.
So you're
talking about
saying
new
that
home build.
Carlos is trying to force panels on houses?
He said new homes, yes. He said new homes. The legislation's designed to go ahead and say we're all new homes that are built in Charles County. New homes that you said that. New homes.
said new homes.
New homes, not existing homes. So now you have two housing markets. You have housing markets without solar panels. Existing homes, like what was the last name, Mr. Brown?
Oh, the house here?
Yes.
Oh, my man, Cooper of Cooper
Mr.
Construction.
Cooper,
by
Mr.
the way.
Cooper. So Mr. Cooper's house
That
is
was a
already
good
built.
ad pitch. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So Mr.
Gotcha.
Cooper's home, I've not seen the roof. I didn't pull satellite data. I don't know what it looks like from above. I'm going to assume it does not have solar panels. Okay, the house next door, the lot next door is empty. I'm just going to assume it's empty. I don't know. But they're going to build a new house there. Same square footage, identical to this place. But they have to put panels on there because of Carlos's legislation. That house now costs X number of dollars more. Why would somebody pay more willingly? They're going to, now you're doing, you're splitting the housing market. Same thing happened during the pandemic when we had less new cars and more used cars. The market got split. So you're going to create an economic issue. I'm not going to say it's a problem. It's going to create an economic issue.
Wait, hold on. Go back real quick. You said the reason that during the pandemic you had more people buying older cars than newer cars was because why?
No, I'm just saying that the market was split. That's all. There was less new cars because there was a shortage of computer chips. Okay, yeah. But what I'm trying to say is you're splitting the market. And so you got two houses that are identical or nearly identical. They have the same things a couple's looking for, a family's looking for. One costs X number of dollars more. Another home costs this amount. This one costs X number more. Which one are they going to willingly choose? So what you're going to do now is you're going to de-incentivize people to build new homes with that. And at some point, the market's going to catch up. The free market's going to catch up.
Oh, Lord, the free market.
Yeah, the free market, because you can't tell people what to do with their property. But what's going to end up happening is...
Actually, we do. We already tell people what to do with their property.
The point is what's going to end up happening is that it's going to create more issues than not. You cannot legislate change.
I get what you're saying, but under that same circumstance, you wouldn't see people putting solar panels on their house then and then selling them.
I mean, I want to go back to Commissioner Stewart. Commissioner Stewart said we should incentivize people. You did too.
Should we incentivize people who currently have houses to put solar panels on their houses?
Solar panels either way.
Yeah, we should incentivize people to put solar.
She said there's already programs at the state level.
No, there's
programs at the federal level.
There is.
Maybe we can enhance those. But again, those are giving people choices instead of basically twisting someone's arm.
Okay, but the way you're framing that is if we said, oh, with building codes, you know what? Is it our responsibility to tell people that you have to have good wiring? Because that's what they want to do. Because that's what they want to do. They want to do the wiring that they want to in their house. Why is it on the government to say what you should have? But we're creating incentives for you to do the right thing as far as wiring? No, the government says we are doing the best thing, one, for the people and for the environment as well. We're making sure that new houses have solar that are electric, that run off of electricity, because we know, one, the environmental concerns, and also long run you are saving money because, one, I don't have a gas bill at all. Two, my solar panels are helping power my home as well. I'm paying, but and shout out to what Michaela said earlier too. 100%, I am so for making these utilities that you have sole monopolies of government run, because SMECO has no competition in Charles County. There is no one who's coming in and saying all those wires and connections underneath the ground, we can do them instead of SMECO. No, SMECO has no competition. They run the energy in Charles County.
Comment section real quick before we go any further. Hey, shout out to you. First of all, everybody watching too as well.
Shout out to everybody.
How many people we have on?
Look, like the podcast, share the podcast too as well. I'm asking for, first of all, thank you for the donations. We use that. Shout out to my boy Will over Quality Touch Studios. Put a lot of that money in his hand to run a previous podcast. But as far as tonight, like, share the podcast works just as well as a donation too as well. Just helps us grow in the local area in Southern Maryland and beyond. Let's see, Pascal. Most states that have such programs give homeowners a tax break to encourage such sales. Michaela, I'm coming down to you too as well. Hold a second. The cost of solar wouldn't matter at the point of sale of power is provided as a public-owned utility. And Zach Ball says no reason it couldn't be subsidized.
I agree with Zach.
Zach, what's going on with you? Saw you on Saturday too as well. Good to see you and the fam.
What's up, Zach?
Michaela says most people aren't incentivized to buy homes now because most people can't even afford to.
Mm-hmm. She's right.
And that's what legislation does. It creates changes. So, all right, we can keep going on this too as well.
I'm ready to
I see Richard Cook about to pop in the comment section. But let's move on to the Lex. We can pop this one off for about a good 25. That's cool.
Which one?
Let's go on to the next legislative proposal. So what is something that both of you, we talk about disagreements too as well. Both have been in the same room for a lot of things. Joseph Mank, I know Carlos has had some proposals. Have you had proposals you proposed to as well?
No, at this moment, I have not chosen to put anything forth. I just haven't.
Any particular reason?
I believe that the proposals, when you do put them forth, I spent some time, lack of a better phrase, spent some time poking around in Washington. So I kind of learned that when you put forth legislation, you know how the feasibility studies are going to look, you know how much it's going to cost, you know how you're going to pay for it. You just don't say, hey, I want this, and everybody else has to find a way to pay for it or make it happen. So a few things I learned when I was poking around in Washington, not too long ago, at least it wasn't too long ago for me. You got to have your crap together before you put something forth. And I didn't have anything, A, I felt incredibly passionate about, and two, that I had the time to do the A to Z research on before I put it forth. I didn't just come up with an idea, slap it on a piece of paper, and say, hey, guys, consider this. I wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about.
So,
and I'm not saying anybody else was not knowing what they were talking about. I'm just saying this is my approach from things I've learned when it comes to putting forth legislation.
Can I take a stab at that real quick for you go, Ricky? But if you want to go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. So just a question for everyone here and for the comment section. For myself, an ordinary citizen of District 2, does it cost a certain amount to bring a proposal forward? What is the process of it? We can take it back some. Carlos, Mank, if y'all want to go ahead and weigh on that, and then we can go forward.
Yeah, sure. So for the legislative proposals process, all you need to do is figure out, one, what you would like to see done. It can be from the smallest thing to, I think we need an extra traffic light on this intersection, to whatever imaginable you can think of. And you write it down, you send it to the...
You just send it in, right?
You send it in, and then you all have a discussion about it. You can provide any data points on it, any additional information. You can provide research, data, whatever you would like to do, or you can show up in person or virtually and discuss your proposal as well. And one thing I want to say is that shout out to everyone who submitted legislative proposals, because I think, and that's one thing I have a disagreement with you about when you say, oh, you need to have all your ducks in a row, research, da 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 da. What I will say is that this was for average, everyday people to say, hey, I want to see my government look a certain way. It is the government's job to, when they take your proposal, to work with that person and work with the different departments to say, hey, how much is in the budget for this? How does this look here? How would that affect this? Because as an everyday citizen, we're not going to have all the information that the government people have to themselves.
Isn't that what the public comments are for?
Hold on.
Straighten the mic out a little bit too as well.
Isn't that what the public comments are for, though?
You're good. Keep going back and forth. You're good.
What you're going to have is you're going to have people submit a policy and say, hey, these are my beliefs. This is what I want to see, and work with elected officials, work with the different government departments to work out any disagreements, work out any different views, aspects, or iron out something more or less depending on what the commissioners choose to do.
Is that a smoke alarm?
I think the coffee's done, but keep going.
Right.
Coffee's okay.
So yeah, so I want to say shout out to everyone who submitted legislative proposals. Yeah, I mean, I think it takes a lot.
So if it's free at a point of service, essentially piece of paper, bring it forward.
Yeah.
Why not bring something? I mean, you're a man of ideas.
I mean, my thing is again, I'm not going to speak ill of anyone who did just write something down on an electronic piece of paper and submit it. And in no way am I think the freedom of ideas is fantastic. That's not the way I do things. And my way is what works for me may not work for Carlos. The way Carlos does things may not work for another person. What that person does may not work for another person. That's what makes us individuals. That's what gives us individuality. The way I do things is not the gold standard. The way Carlos or anyone else does things are not the gold standard. So that's the way I approach this through the things that I've learned. Again, poking around in Washington. I'm not going to explain any more than that. But
so there's not a single idea that you've thought through.
I have a lot.
But there's no ideas that you've thought through to say, I want to bring this forward because I believe the county should adopt this at all?
Just because I haven't put anything forth this time doesn't mean I'm not doing the research and the work now.
No, I'm not.
So
I'm not saying that you're not.
submit
I'm
a
just
proposal
saying
that I'm not going to ask my board of commissioners, but this is the point where it's just already. I'm going to say they're a little overworked. I'm not kissing any butt right now, but there's some things that I've talked about with a couple of them that are a couple months behind.
Such as?
Yeah, what are they overworked?
Let's talk about board appointments. We'll just go there because I know they're still trying to fill the boards and commissions, and they haven't been able to get around to that because they got other stuff going on. I know the budget kind of slowed them down quite a bit, and I don't feel like they need to do the work for me. If I feel so passionately about legislation that I need enacted, why am I going to ask somebody else to do the work? I need to do the work. If I feel so strongly about it, I need to put together. I work in sales. Why am I going to go and ask my customer to go ahead and complete the other half of my sales pitch? I need to do the sales pitch. I need to close the deal.
So, okay, let's
say. So go ahead, get the floor.
Let's say I'm going to the place that you work at to buy X product.
Yes, because we leave my work out of it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't like to bring up people's jobs. Yeah, so
you've been to my job, so
the product is legal, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. So,
yes, everything I'm selling is legal.
Like I said, I go to your job. I go to buy X thing. Would me as a customer know every single deal that I could get? So from what you're saying and what I interpret it as is you're saying when I go to your store to buy something, basically, me as someone coming to buy something, I should know everything I want exactly. I should be like, hey, I want this. This discount can be applicable. You can use this discount code. Hey, I can get this because if I bundle this with this and this,
You
and
got
I
it
just come
backwards.
to you.
I should know this as a salesperson. When you get in front of the board and you're going in and submitting a proposal, you're trying to sell your idea to our elected officials, and you're also trying to sell it to the community. So I find it not in my style to put together something haphazardly, not haphazardly, but just throw something together and say, okay, this is what I want. You guys figure out how you pay for it. You guys figure out how you implement it. You guys figure out, this is what I think is a good idea, and I think it's a good idea, and I'm going to talk for 3 minutes.
Isn't that a simplification of what the legislation proposal is?
Yeah, I mean,
You have to be able to sell what you do, what you want done. And if you cannot say how you're going to pay for it, how you're going to implement it, how you're going to even get the community around it, this is a good idea. Please put it in action, and I'm going to let you guys do all the back end work.
but that's like telling people.
That's a little. To me,
But
that's
that's
a
like-
little less likely to get passed.
So, Carlos, I guess a
But-
question for you is that, let's say your proposal did get passed, what will be the next step from you?
propose more legislation to get passed. Like, to me, it's all about getting legislation passed to improve the lives of the working class people of
But
Charles
as far
County.
as, like, you say, get that one proposal passed with the solar panels, would you do anything else with that too as well, behind the scenes? In front
Yeah,
of the
see how
scenes?
we can move it forward.
Public.
See how we can either grow that policy or if that policy has reached its limit, see what's the next policy that we can work on to move forward. It's to me, that's the main thing.
So my thing is that, what I see is that, one, it's two things here. Obviously, you get the proposal passed. You still want to kind of see it. All right, it's passed.
You want to see it
Now,
implemented, and you want to
Yeah,
see.
you want to see more of the work
Yeah.
with it, all that too as well. Two, as far as you, Joseph W. Make, a man with that wants to
government.
consider yourself a politician too as well.
I mean, I use that as a joke because everybody says that I'm a politician. So if you're going to keep calling me something again and again, I'm just going to own it.
I would say
I'm just
that
going to own it.
people.
I would
I'm
say
just
that
gonna own
you're at all these meetings, right?
I'm at nearly every. Actually, I'm not going to give myself all the credit. Carlos, almost every meeting I'm at, Carlos is at, and when Carlos is not at a meeting, I'm at, and vice versa. So Carlos is putting into work just like I am. We just may be on different sides of the spectrum. But Carlos is putting his work in too.
But you do plan on running for office.
I do.
So why not start getting your platform ideas out there?
It's a slow burn.
Well, this is
What
a
did
perfect,
I tell
this is
you
a perfect
last year?
platform to do it.
It's
Right, thank
it's
you.
a 4-year. Sorry, I take that back. It's not a 4-year race anymore. I got a year between now and the next primary, roughly.
I mean, it'll be
Give or
here before
take.
you know it.
Oh,
This
trust me, I
podcast.
heard
Well, you have
20
less
I
than
heard
you have less than a
26.
year now.
I heard 26 is going to get here before I know it.
Yeah, this podcast
been-
will be on replay too as well. So,
Right.
and I don't want to put you on the spot right
No,
now
no,
as
no,
far as
carry-
that,
carry on, man.
because I still want to talk a little bit more proposals before we start getting
Some
to.
more of my Monster, though, man. I love this Monster drink. I'm going to give
Oh,
a plug
my
to
God.
Monster. It's something that keeps me awake at night. My beautiful girlfriend, Michelle, she's a school teacher here in the county.
This guy's good. This guy's
She
good.
is.
This guy's good.
She
right
is
here.
fantastic. I love her to death. My former communications director, Brian Grossback,
Don't-
is a teacher at another school. But I'm going to tell you something. Michelle gets me up early in the morning if I'm at her place or not. 05:30 every morning. It's not Joe's style. So I need the Monster to keep me going, man, especially after like 8
Yo,
o'clock.
I'll tell you one thing you do very well is that you know how to dominate dead space. Like you just know how to just keep. Yeah, even if you don't have an answer for something, you just keep it flowing. Hey, you know, you said you're a politician.
I mean, me giving
Hey.
me giving my love out to my girlfriend Michelle,
Oh, my God.
and to her ex-husband and former communications director Brian. I definitely always give the plugs out to people who look out for me.
Jesus, Carlos, what are the proposals we got here?
I wanted
brings
to
things back on track.
I wanted to reference one of the questions that somebody
Shout out to
asked
the
on
fan,
here
though.
real quick. Karen Carpenter Shiflett, I believe. What are the offices that these gentlemen are running for? Carlos is running for no office at all.
You did run for office, though, Carlos.
I
right?
did run previously. I do not plan to run in the future at all. I don't know if Joseph
Gun sky.
says
Gun
the same
shy.
thing, but
Joe, what you running for, man?
yeah. And then we can switch over to.
By the way, I'm just a podcast. So
Whenever
I ain't
you're
running
ready.
for nothing.
All right, so
Don't plan on
anybody there's a handful of my friends, supporters, people who like to spy on me. I don't know which group some people fall into. I got over like 2,000 people on my Facebook. I don't know which group people fall into, but you guys have seen my political aspirations change a couple times. We have an election next year. I feel strongly about school safety, so I'm throwing my hat in the ring for at large. I probably will announce in the next
School
week or
board.
two. After school board, yeah.
What let's keep this going. Why school board?
First off, it's the next primary. That's one.
So just the next election is up.
That's
if it was
actually
commissioner, you would run for that.
no, I wouldn't. I would not. I want to do something for the school board because I honestly believe, I hate to say this, and actually I'm going to leave personal things out. I think people in this room may be able to understand how I feel. When you have someone that works in the school system and you have children in the school system that you care about, and you see the police things hit Facebook, and you get people that are friends of yours that are Charles County Sheriff's officers, and they text you things, my heart drops. I look for the, like I said in the Board of Education meeting last week, my heart drops. I look for the school. Is it this school, this school, this school, this school? And I think school safety is out of control. And I'm actually spoke in person with the head of security for the Charles County school system last week. The gentleman came up to me, and we had a good conversation, and I'm going to schedule a meeting to speak with him probably in the next few weeks. And I mentioned in that meeting I was going to roll up my sleeves. I was willing to try to work on school safety. I'm going to go ahead and put together a comprehensive plan, speaking with some powers that be, and I'm going to submit it to the board.
As far as your platform?
Not my platform. I'm talking about school safety. My platform is centered around school safety. And I need to reach out to some people to get some more education. I need to put together that comprehensive plan. And we spoke off the cuff earlier on some things, and there were some good ideas coming from some sides that I normally don't agree with, but there's some good ideas that I need to consider. But that's going to be my platform, school safety, because hate to say it's personal when somebody's bringing weapons to a school where there's a young lady that I care about very deeply goes to school there, or when there's been 2 incidences at a school that my girlfriend teaches at, when there are police responding to a high school that a very good friend of mine that I just mentioned earlier goes to, and I'm worried if he got hurt. I'm hate to say it, I'm fed up with it. I think teachers across this county are fed up with it. I think parents across this county are fed up with it. I think the administration, I think everybody's fed up with it. And honestly, we just can't keep ignoring it. We cannot put our head in the sand like ostriches and pretend it's not a problem. We have to do something now.
It was the now that got me, but
Like Howard Dean?
So
Remember that?
Lord, so
Remember that?
wow.
Dude, that sunk his campaign, so don't compare me to that.
Yo, that
I actually liked Howard Dean before that actually happened, by the way.
That Dave Chappelle skit too as well. Yo, that's
No. I mean now, I'm going to emphasize the word now because literally, I think right now, I'm just going to say this. I think our school board, half if not more new. So I'm not going to put it on them.
a lot of you.
Yeah, we have more new people than we do not have new people. So we just can't say the board has failed this year.
You taking on Lucas?
Oh my gosh.
What are we talking?
We're not going to get into that right now.
Man, school board.
Yes, at large. But the thing is, I believe that what I've seen from this board this year, there's been a lot of photo ops. And I said this at the last BOE meeting. I'm basically just going to parrot what I've already said.
Keep
Photo ops are great. Community engagement's great. Going to the graduations are great. Getting out to the schools to do school visits are great. Those are fantastic. When Annapolis is back in session, I want to see photo ops up there. I'm going to go right back to what I said about running for clerk of the court. It's not about just being a school board member. It's not about just being clerk of the court or sitting on the board of county commissioners. It's about applying the pressure, getting out there, getting the voice, speaking up. Because that's, again, I'm circling right back into my last campaign. This is something I don't think is happening. Maybe they don't think they can do anything. Maybe there's not a mechanism. When I've spoken to certain people in the administration.
Quick question, too.
Hold on, let me just finish this sentence and I'll get
you go back and forth from here.
I do believe, after speaking to people in the administration at CCBOE, they're being hamstringed from Annapolis. So if what's happening is that they can't enact policy based on what the state's telling them to do. Personally, I can't speak for anyone else but Joe Mank. There's a mentor of mine that's listening right now, and he always says he's only responsible for himself.
Who?
I'm not mentioning his name, but he knows. I'm pretty sure he's listening, so he's going to know. He says I'm only responsible for this person, and honestly, I'm only responsible for me. So I can't speak for what other people are going to do or what they have not done. But if I'm on that board, or if I'm at my next post after that's over with, I'm going to be responsible for myself. And guess what? Joe's going to be up in Annapolis. Joe's going to be trying to get people on camera. People are going to try to get people on quotes saying, hey, well, what can we do about this? We've had X number of Z of issues in the schools. What can we do to change this? You've got to hit the pressure. You've got to keep people engaged, and you cannot let people get complacent. Okay? That's it. I'm not saying that we're not going to have incidents in the school. It's not realistic. But we need more action.
Can I ask a question in a
Please,
minute?
I'm sorry. I said one sentence and I just did 5. So,
No, you're
Carlos,
good.
I don't mean to
That
disrespect
That
you.
was a
No, you're
campaign
good.
speech right there.
Right?
Stop speaking.
So I was actually wondering, can we circle back to legislative proposal and then
Yes,
go
please.
back to
No,
that?
no, that's fine.
No, and then go back to that
Oh,
because
the
that's
fun
definitely
part's the legislative proposal. So let's do that.
because that's
I
definitely a
do want
conversation.
to go back to that because there's a couple questions that popped off from that too as well.
So you want to go to the next? So I guess the next one, which
We can circle back around.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good.
Keeping it alive, Rick.
yeah, one thing that I really loved to talk about was actually all of my legislative proposals I like to talk about, but the air conditioning mandate one as well.
I like that one.
The rent stabilization one and the sheriff's vehicle one. I feel like those are 3 that we have maybe difference of opinions on or views on. You want to start with the air conditioning one?
Oh my gosh,
Everyone?
Carlos, I'm gonna pick up some votes here. Thank you.
Lord help us.
No, I'm not worried about votes.
So,
Honestly, I agree with Carlos on this.
well, you want me to explain it from what
Please,
people?
no, it's
yeah.
your proposal. I'm not going to tell you how your proposal's written. You wrote it.
Yeah, so I'll explain it real quick. So what the legislative proposal is that it mandates that rental property or property owners are mandated to put in air conditioning that can cool each room to at least 70 degrees. So that, let's say you own an apartment complex and let's say the air conditioning only gets to 78. Then by that means either the tenant can say, hey, I'm going to my property owner, say, hey, the air conditioning is not working, you need to fix it, and that triggers the property owner to fix it. Or if the property owner is like, well, I don't really care, then you have the option to go to the county to come out. They check to say, no, your air conditioner isn't working properly because it's not getting each room to 70 degrees, and can put fines and fees onto the property owner. Or the other option, you could go through, which I think is a hard process to go through anyway, go through escrow to withhold rent and go through that way as well.
Please don't jump from. I want to respond to that one, then we can talk about the other one if you don't mind. I don't want to lose train.
Wait, what do you mean that? Like the air
You talk
conditioning
about
one?
two
You want to talk
different
about?
things. You talk about 2 different things. So can I respond to the air conditioning before we go to rent stabilization, please?
No, we're talking about the air conditioning one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we didn't. We're going to jump.
No, we're talking about the air conditioning.
I honestly, I'm going to.
We are going to go back to school board though too as well.
It's your show. I kind of act like I'm in charge, but I'm not.
Ricky, it's your show.
I guess.
Ricky, I just learned that today.
Who's running BNY here?
Right?
Evidently not me.
No, I honestly, like I said, and I'm going to parrot myself again. I agree with you, Carlos, but I'm going to go back to what I said as well. I think multi-family commercial properties. If you own an apartment complex, like, do you remember that? And I want to continue my statement, but I just want a yes or no or maybe. Do you remember that thing that you put up on Facebook? And I think Michaela and Pascal and Shauna, and
Shout out to all of them.
all great people. All great people. May not agree on everything, but I respect all of you. Yes, I respect all of you.
Man, go back and think.
You put up with that guy. There was an older gentleman that passed away. I think that was right around there, right there in District 4, across the street from Smallwood. That shopping center there. I can't remember. It was like off October Place or something like that. There was somebody died because they didn't have air conditioning, and there was a huge uproar. There was actually and everything. I remember I actually signed that petition.
I don't remember the exact one.
Yeah, I believe it was off October Place. That is owned by a corporate conglomerate per se. That part of that legislation I agree with you on. Now, if Ricky...
Wait, hold up. That's not what you said during the legislative proposal.
That's
You were talking
exactly what I
said.
said.
No, I remember during the legislative proposal you said we do not... It is not on us as the government to tell private owners what they can and can't do with the property.
I hate to say this, I'm a little bit of a... got to use the right adjective here. I like watching myself speak a lot. So trust me, I have my own speeches memorized. That's not what I said. I watch what I say a lot. What I said is multi-unit, multi-family commercial property. So the definition of commercial means not owned privately. So the property over there off October Place is owned commercially, and that should be regulated by law. I'm fine with the legislation on that, and I'm actually fine with it being phased in within the 2 to 3 year period.
Wait, what
I'm not okay with is if Ricky and his wife decide to buy a second home for rental purposes, and the air conditioning goes out and it's not in the lease.
Wow.
Now you're going to legislate that he has to go ahead and put air conditioning in the house. Now, first off, when you rent a property, there's something called a legal contract.
Rick, you a bad property owner.
I'm just saying that
Look,
okay, I could have said the
Kicking
turkey.
out grandma for 96 cents short on the rent. They ain't me though.
All right,
But my
Manucci.
point is that when you rent a place, there's a contract that you sign that's beneficial to you and the property owner. I believe 2 county commissioners. I'm going to leave their names out of it because I can't remember exactly which 2 actually said it. I know there was 2 that normally sit to the right side of the board if you're facing the board that said that you shouldn't tell people what to do with the private property. Also, it also spoke about leases.
Wait, so were you talking about Bowling and Stewart?
I'm getting back to what my statements are is that
People are saying that you did say that. I mean, there's tape here that we can pull back to as
we
well.
could go right back.
Actually,
have the
I don't
receipts.
have it right now on the podcast, but somebody can go
What's
back
their
and
name?
pull it. A timestamp and a date.
I'd like to see it. I'll pull it right up on my. Okay, that's fine. If I actually said that, I'll own it. I don't remember saying it, and I've watched that particular video probably a dozen times. And I've sent that video out, and at least 10 or 15 people that I know personally have watched it and given me feedback on it.
Well, we can always compare the notes. I mean,
That's fine. That's fine. I'm like I said, if that's what I said, that's what I said. But I don't think the way Carlos characterized it is exactly. I don't think those were the words I used. And I'm not going to even try to get them verbatim on parentheses. I don't think those were the words I used. It was not verbatim. It was not even paraphrasing. There was.
But the policy, yeah. Let's get back to policy because
So
we can't.
anyway, getting to what I'm saying is, I believe when you sign a lease, you could say, "Hey, I don't want to rent this property if there's not an air conditioning provision in it." That's a choice you sign when you sign that contract. Nobody forces a lease upon you. If the lease, and this is what Amanda Stewart, Commissioner, this is what Amanda said. She said, if it says it in the damn lease, then they have to enforce it. If it doesn't say it in the lease, they don't have to enforce it. So when you rent a piece of property, if you want air conditioning, really simple, make sure it's in the damn contract.
Okay, I have a rebuttal to that then because. So do you think we shouldn't mandate heat be in properties then?
That's in the bill. That's in the code.
No.
You can't do nothing about
But
that.
shouldn't we take it out and say if you want heat, work that out with your property owner? Why do we mandate it?
I think there's a difference of survivability when it comes to heat.
Are you serious?
Very few people.
Oh man, no.
Wait,
no,
hold
no.
up. We have cooling centers because we understand
No, I
that
don't mean it that way.
AC
I don't mean it
is
that way.
essential.
So you're a man of science.
Okay, let me rephrase what I just said.
Go ahead.
When I said survivability, we're talking about math. Okay, people, when it comes to heat, that has been defined by our governments as something that's essential. Now, what you're trying to do is make it essential across the board. Is that what you're trying? I'm going to ask you a
Air
question.
conditioning is essential. And
It is
should
essential.
be.
And you said, honestly, and I'm going to agree with you, there's only 2 of us in this big room, which Mr. Cooper is doing very well
you
to
in
keep
the
it cool
room, too.
for us.
I'm like, damn.
Mr. Cooper's doing...
took my show, and I ain't even here.
My point is this: Carlos said in the commissioner and in the blue room, what was there, like 40 of us or 30 of us in that day?
I don't know.
If it was 80 degrees in here, we'd all be complaining, if not up in arms. That's what you said.
Yeah, we would.
So I listen. I'm not trying to come
If it
off
was 80 in
callous.
here, I'd be complaining too.
Look, let's just go from here. Should air conditioning be mandated?
I think the only thing Carlos and I separate
Heat
on-
is. Michaela pointed out, but obviously not all properties mandate air conditioning. Should it be?
I think all. I could be wrong. Let me ask you this, Carlos, because I'm having a mind blank here. Did you say all new properties or all properties? Period. In your legislation?
All rental properties.
Okay, so we're talking existing and. New.
I don't care if that.
So, okay,
place
so we'll
been
have a-
existing for 500 years.
So we'll have a break here. I will say, also BJ also did mention about the Amish community, and you gave a good rebuttal to that, saying that there could be exceptions for religious and other cultural. And I know you believe in cultural acceptance, so you've spoken on that multiple times before. At least I'm pointing at you this time instead
This
of going
man
over there.
fills up dead space like
I
nobody
know.
else.
Like, yes, let's
Yo.
keep
So
on the,
what I'm getting
keep on
to
the
is
thing.
that new properties, multifamily, yes. Actually, all properties, yes. New properties. Multifamily, existing, yes. Commercial, yes. I think the economic cost is going to be too much. And again, I
What do you
have
mean
to
economic costs on who?
It's going to change the market. It's going to change the market. You're basically going about what Commissioner Stewart said. You can't tell people what to do with their own private
Yes,
property.
we can. We tell people all the time there are certain building codes that you have to keep up to date. We tell people.
Commissioner Stewart's
we
incorrect with her
tell
thinking.
peop- Say that one more time.
Are you telling me that Commissioner Amanda Stewart's wrong with her thinking?
he did right.
Yes, I did, and I told her that. I told them that when we talked about the proposal. If we sit here and say we cannot tell private property owners what to do with their property, why do we have building codes? Why do we say it's certain things you have to do, or certain things have to be maintained a certain way? Because we understand we need to have certain regulations in place in the private market. So, and also for you to say, well, not older apartment buildings or apartment buildings. So are you saying?
No, I'm saying all commercial.
Are you saying
immediately,
but you
like
said
within
new.
12 months?
No,
we should do
but
that.
you said new, so I'm just trying to figure out. Are you saying only new apartment buildings or commercial buildings, or are you saying for no matter if this apartment complex has been there for 10 years, they still gotta do
So
it.
let's break this down to two areas. One is
Let's break this down, then we move on from there too.
Gotcha.
As well.
So okay, we have two different groups. We have private ownership, commercial ownership. We don't phase in commercial ownership if it's a single family home or you got 400 condos up on a tower. We phase that in, not phase it in. We get it in as soon as we can. It's feasible, okay? Which could be in 12, 24 months. Private homes, I'd be more willing to phase that in over a 3 to 5, 10-year period, depending on the markets. Private, and that's why I'm going to agree with Commissioner Stewart on. But when you talk about something that's owned by a commercial entity, something that's multifamily, absolutely, that legislation should stick and be enacted almost immediately.
So just because I rent out a house, let's say it's from Ricky. I rent out a house from Ricky.
Yo, I got a lot of properties.
You do. You're out here killing it.
Man.
I don't deserve
Jenny
air.
don't see the money though, so.
Nah, don't do that. Don't do
Dang.
that. She over here, don't
Okay, right.
Hey,
Wow. So
Oh
what you're
my
saying is
God.
because let's say I rent a house from someone next door. I don't deserve air conditioning
You
to
should have
be.
signed a contract that dictated it in the contract.
Yo.
But
so
what you're looking at, okay,
This
that
is-
is just a fundamentally wrong way to look at it because a lot of people rent out property that, or they're tenants of properties that's look, it doesn't have everything that will actually be sustainable or I can live with, but that's all I can afford right now. And if we're honestly
Okay.
if we're really being honest about it, the only thing the property owner is really going to pay for is installing the air conditioning. The people who use it, they're the ones who pay for it.
When was the last time you paid to have an air conditioning system put in your home? Because I chipped in, me and the people I live with just had an entire new heating and cooling system put in our home back during the pandemic. And I remember how much that cost because I was there when the contract was signed and I remember chipping money in to pay for it. So
It's a standard of living.
we're talking
Air
close to
conditioning is
$9,000, Carlos.
But you know
That's
what?
a lot of
But
money,
you know
especially
what?
if you're middle class.
But you know what? That person decided to rent out their house to other people.
Just like someone decided to sign a lease.
No. That person decided to rent out their house, which means you have to keep it up to a certain standard of livability. From what you're saying, I should be able to rent out basically I don't want to cuss. So I could rent out just
You good to go here.
some random shack that has all these building code violations. And from what you're saying is, if it's between me and just a private person, hey, if you sign that lease that I know that the roof is leaking, it's electrical cords hanging over the house could blow up at any point. But hey, I decided to rent it out, so that's on me.
That's actually against the law at the moment.
But from what you're saying, if you apply your view on the air conditioning, you apply that to everything else, you're saying it's on that person.
No, you
to
can't.
deal with what
you
you
can't
pick
put
up.
together a contract that violates the current law.
No,
the
I get what
contract's
you're
invalid
saying.
at that point.
No, what I'm saying is if we take your view of air conditionings and apply it to everything else, we shouldn't have laws that say as a private property owner that you have to meet certain building code expectations when you rent it out.
So what you're trying to do is change the code.
I'm trying to add it. So yes, air conditioning is a mandated thing. There is no option, and we can't just say, the air conditioning, you have it, so it's working. Working should be a specific
No,
number.
I agree with you on that too.
That we say.
Because working could be 84 years degree. There could be a little bit of cold air coming out of there, and it's getting you from 88 to 84, 80 degrees. I agree with you on that. Trust me, I know that I've dealt with that personally. So.
Pause from there. First of all, comment section. I'm not a slumlord. Don't do that to me. Don't do that. People see that, they'll go back and replay
no.
Like, I don't own any property except for my own.
Ricky would make sure that everyone has air conditioning in his property.
Yo, first of all, yes.
I
am a human being, and I would do things for other human beings.
There
to
we
make sure
go.
they
Ricky even
survive.
had air conditioning in his studio, so you're like.
Don't do that. I had an air fan
Yes,
right
you did.
there. I had heat in the
Everything,
winter.
brother, you had everything.
You were there December and June
Yes.
too as well. Yo, see, I told you. That's why I gotta watch out for this guy right here.
Mm-hmm.
Comment section. All right, Derek Terry, what's going on with you? I believe the government picks and chooses what is essentially and what is not, what is essential and what is not. At some point, the people need to decide for the government, especially rental properties.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we have our legislation proposal.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, Derek, are you in favor?
Oh, so I got more comments too as well. I got more comments. Kelly, landlords can write up the cost for installing the AC system. Laura, if I'm going to rent my property, it's my job to make sure that, God, I just clicked off of it too as well. I'm sorry, Laura. That I make sure that people essentially have, air conditioning. Michaela, people say that, people have died from not having AC too.
They have. Someone did die.
So in that case, then why not be for it?
I mean, the only thing I really want to
And I
add,
was like, let's just stop right there because we'll just keep going.
No, I don't want to keep going. I just want to just get this last little snippet.
Oh
out.
my God!
I just want to say that I'm not against people having air conditioning. What I'm against is wide sweeping legislation, and I think that it should be done responsibly. What Carlos says, and I even admitted multiple times that he's right. We just got to be a little more calculated about what we do. And I would hope, and again, not everybody is the same. Not everybody reads contracts. Not everybody, I hate to say this, I know people personally don't know how to read. I mean, I'm going to bring this up because it's important because I keep talking about contracts and reading contracts. Some people not know how to read. So, do they not deserve housing? So my thing is that this is something that should be worked on. I think the first step is let's do it commercial. And let's try to find a way to do it otherwise. I'm not this cold, callous person that says you need to be smart enough to read a contract and send it to a lawyer and all that and other magical stuff. I'm also not saying that honestly, I love air conditioning. If anybody knows me personally, I have central air in my house and I have a window unit in my office and in my bedroom because I like my air conditioning. So I just want to say that I'm not callous to it. I just think that we need to work on this. And the first step is going to be commercial and multifamily units. Look, it can be worked on. I'm not saying no.
Look, heat in the winter, cool in the summer.
I mean,
water, running toilets too as well. Electricity,
right.
Gas stoves. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. We could talk about that later.
Ricky, it's one little point I want to make just before we get off. Is the one thing that I do not like, and this is what Commissioner Stewart has said before, is that, well, I didn't grow up with air conditioning. We open up the front door and the back door and you let the wind blow and you hope that the wind's cold that day.
Amanda did say that.
First of all, one, that's a narrow-minded way to look at it, to say, oh, just because I didn't grow up with things. You have grandparents who didn't grow up with there being any type of public transportation or school buses.
Or water.
They had to walk. You have people who didn't grow up with the basic standards of living that we see now, our standards of living. And I know the commissioners made Van go free because they understand that while some of them didn't grow up with public transit, they understand that it is essential for people to be able to live a actual successful and thriving life. So for anyone to look and say just because they didn't grow up with something that they don't want future generations or the current generation to be able to have a sustainable life is incredibly mind-boggling to me personally.
I agree with you, Carlos.
Pause it there. All right, so let's talk about something totally different. Let's just move this. We'll go off legislative proposals. Shout out to the comment section too as well. Everybody watching, please share the podcast, like, subscribe. It helps us grow. Let's talk charter.
Ooh,
let's talk charter.
I was going to ask for a 5-minute bathroom break here, but let's dive into this.
5-minute bathroom break. What the hell you got to do? 5 minutes.
Well, if he wants to go to bathroom break.
No, it's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, I do need a bathroom break here shortly, but let's dive into charter.
Who
wants to dive on the grenade first?
Oh, a second. So you actually were running for a position on the...
I'm not running. I applied.
You applied for it.
And I was asked.
Let's talk about that process. Let's talk about charter in general. Comment section. Let's go ahead and start directing our comments to that too as well. Carlos, floor is yours.
Where do you want to start? Just the views on charter? Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the application process.
Oh, yeah. The application process. The application process is pretty simple. You fill out what district you live in.
Was that your first board?
No, second one actually. But you fill in, what district you live in, what you want to see in charter. They ask a few general questions of why do you want to do this? What's the purpose? And then you have a interview with them. I think it was only 44 people in total who even applied. But you do an interview. It was 5 minutes, and then that's it. And then they tell you either you got it or you didn't get it, and that's it.
I mean, someone came to me and suggested that I apply for the charter board. I declined.
Who are these people coming to you?
I'm not mentioning names, but someone asked me. Someone suggested to me that I should apply for the charter board. At the time, I am gaming for another board here in the county, and I did not know that you could sit on the charter board.
I would love
I take that back.
to
There's
see
3
these
boards
people
I'm
in a
gearing
room.
for, but no, there was another board I was gearing for, and I didn't know that I thought you could. Someone was told me you can only sit on one board at a time, and that board was more important to me than charter. I also think charter, no matter which, it's like the third rail of politics. It's like Social Security at the federal level, in which you touch it, you fail. There's no way to win with charter, so I didn't feel like it was something I should touch. No matter which side of charter you sit on that board, you're going to be demonized. The whole process is already being demonized. To me, I was like, nope, third rail, I'm not touching it. Even though someone came to me and said, hey, Joe, this may be something you may be interested in. And I was like, yeah, I'm not touching that. So he applied,
you
and someone
looking at me?
asked me to apply, and he didn't get it, and I decided not to touch it.
Okay. All right. So one applied. Some smoky backfill room. Someone told you not to apply.
It was a
I don't know what that is. Allegedly. So as far as overall thoughts,
one of my mystery people. Allegedly, Carlos thinks these people don't exist. So
you want to name names? How do we know these people exist?
Thank you. I don't know. I don't know the people, so I don't know who they are. I mean, I don't. Yeah. I don't know.
So overall thoughts on Charter 2 as well.
I'm
Good for the
getting hit
county,
here.
bad for the county.
Yeah,
the future of it.
Well, one, we definitely have to see what the charter looks like in the end. It could be something that we say, no, I don't like how that looks. How that looks for the county. I think it's specific things that I would love to see in charter. I would love to see all of our county council positions be full-time positions. I feel like running the county is a full-time job. It is not something that we should look at as, hey, what's one comparison I've said? One comparison I've always said is, we would find it ridiculous if the Department of Labor was like, you know what, for 4 months we're good, we got you. After that, y'all better figure out your own labor issues out here. No, we understand that for an effective government to run, you need to have people who their sole job
vested.
is dedicated to the county itself. I would love to see there be a process that's less of a the council policing themselves when it comes to recalling or removing someone. Yeah, I would love to see it that every council person has a chief of staff, has a legislative director, has people dedicated to them to help craft policies. So it's not just, we all share the same person, and we hope that, you don't cross different policies with each other. And also you have a dedicated team to help you move forward. And it's not just, you by yourself. It's that it takes a lot to pass legislation, to craft it, to know everything that's going on, and you need a dedicated team to do that. Just how you see all of our delegates delegates and state senators have their own chief of staffs. When you look at other counties that have charters, like Prince George's and Arundel, other places, they all have their own chief of staff and people to help them along the way that are dedicated to their common goal.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to me poking around in Washington.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So have you
just poke around?
What does that mean? Wait, what does that mean?
Have you ever spent any time on Capitol Hill before, Carlos?
Yes, I have.
Is this you
spent
mean with
time on
poking around
Capitol
Washington?
Hill.
You've been on Capitol Hill?
So what
So
I'm
you're just,
asking
like,
you is
walking
that
around?
even a congressperson does not have this. They have the staff about the size you're talking about.
Well, actually, college people have a much larger staff than just a chief of staff and legislative director.
I
It's a
think
lot
in
of people.
2018, their budget was about $1.2 million for staff. Because trust me, I know this. But what I'm getting to is that I would speak to the fact that the money has to come from somewhere. And also on top of that, I do agree with the fact that you mentioned that they should be committed and invested in their community. If we do go to charter, I think that it should be a full-time position. I agree. It's just, see, you and I agree on more than most people, or you think that we agree on. But I do think it should be a full-time position. I also believe that they should have more staff. Right now, it's my understanding that each commissioner has a dedicated person to them. That's to them solely. Not saying they don't work in concert.
Well, that's what BJ just said right here.
Yeah, I don't see what you see.
Yeah, and I want to know by that.
right here in front
Does it
of
I
mean-
can't read it, dude. It's tiny little writing. I told you I'm blind as a bat.
Even with the glasses? Oh my god.
What do you think? What do you think? I don't
let's
drive
go.
very much.
Let's go back. You walk around
Oh, that's a
Capitol
good
Hill.
question that Zach asked in the comment. Who are these Congress people that you're hanging around?
I'm not talking about Congress people right now. I used to.
You just
Hold
mentioned
up. You did
poke
mention
around in
Congress
Washington
people.
like 5
that
times.
was that was back in like 2014 to 16, 17. That's long before I even messed around with Charles.
So why even bring it up?
Yeah, you mentioned
Because
it.
I learned a lot when I was up there and doing different things. I did some speech writing as well. But my point is this: is that
You did
the-
speech writing.
the staff level that Carlos
For who?
is talking. I'm not mentioning any names.
Oh
what I'm
my
trying to get to
gosh.
is that the staff level that Carlos is talking about is Congress people have that level of staff. Do you want that at our local level? I don't think they need it.
I mentioned a chief of staff and a legislative director.
That
That is all I mentioned.
Commissioner Bowler, what do you think you need? You tell us.
Yeah,
got
you
BJ.
tell us what you think you need. But hold up, I mentioned chief of staff and the legislative director.
So
You're
what do you
saying
need a chief of staff when there's
said
only
it-
two people?
Hold up. You said it as if I mentioned you need somebody just to open the door for you in the morning to say hello.
Hey, BJ, go back to what Ricky said. What do you need to do your job effectively?
Well, I just
Let's
said
say
that.
there was no amount of money. Let's say money was not
Ricky,
an
there's an
object.
echo.
What would it take for you to get this done?
So back
I'm
to
gonna say
yeah.
we're not just gonna whip him the type because I don't
told
know.
you dead air. You do it.
Yes.
You're like a radio host, man. You just keep. Even if your parent, you said the parent said the same thing I just said too as well. I want to advance this conversation as far as charter. We talked about as far as the board itself and what it can do for us as a county. Now,
I actually
there's a point that Derek made that we've made multiple times on here as far as Waldorf municipality, things of that sort.
Would love to see
Does
it.
charter do anything to affect that?
Not really, because not really, because Waldorf would be totally separate from overall Charles County. Hold on, Charles County would be separate, whereas Waldorf would have their own city council, their own mayor. They can pass, depending on what the Waldorf municipality charter looks like, pass their own zoning ordinance, set up their own police department, set up their own. Set up multiple and myriad of things, and one of the biggest benefits is you have people dedicated just to Waldorf. It is not that Waldorf has to hope they get enough votes by other people who care about their concerns as well too. And I know it's one point that Derek Terry always mentions that I love is you have a lot of people around the county who talk the worst shit about Waldorf.
There it is.
But then. But let's be serious. But let's be serious and back to Derek Terry's comment. If Waldorf put all this tax money and said, "Fine, y'all don't like Waldorf, don't deal with Waldorf no more," the county would be in some serious trouble. Where Waldorf makes up almost half of the entire population of this whole place.
You've been drinking wine with Pascal when she talks about California and the tax money she brings to the federal government.
Hold up.
Oh, here we go.
Don't bring up
and
Pascal
New York too.
in any type. Yeah. So go ahead though, because where's this going?
Here we go. I have no idea. But back to the whole plated thing too as well, Sat.
Also, you haven't seen any municipality. You haven't seen any municipality in Maryland say, "We don't want this anymore." Once you get it, people want it and they keep it.
How would that affect budget-wise as far as Waldorf, municipality? That would cut a lot of Charles County, wouldn't it?
You would have some money.
It would gut District 1.
Where are the votes on? Where are the votes?
It would gut District 2 too.
I didn't pass the address. Where are the votes as far as commissioners go? As far as municipality for Waldorf?
Well, going back to the last town hall that they had, all of them said if a petition was submitted, that they would all vote to put it on the ballot.
I think they said they'd consider it.
No, they all said if this is what the people want, then they will put it on the ballot. Gilbert Bowling said it, Amanda Stewart said it, Reuben Collins said it, Ralph Patterson said it, and Thomasina Coates said it. So if it does come across and they do not do it, that would be effectively them lying to the residents of Waldorf.
I'm going to revisit the video, but I believe you, Carlos, because honestly, I don't think I've ever heard you lie before. So, yes, I think you're right on that.
Oh, my God. Commissioner Bowling, I think there's a misconception that we need charter to make some of these changes suggested. We can do that already now. Just to refresh my memory, what changes are we talking about too as well? Yeah. As for one thing he said competent colleagues.
I mean, I like to speak on charter. I'm going to dive on this damn grenade right now.
We're going to transition there too as well.
That's funny.
Overall, both of you thoughts on Coates too as well. Everything's popping off as far as
we can do charter first. That's a little easier to deal with at the moment than Thomasina.
You talking? Go ahead.
Okay, well, I guess I'll
I mean, I was going to come back on top of Carlos. So, Carlos, you go ahead and just...
Sure, I'll talk about
Jesus.
it. So, thank you. So, the Thomasina Coates issue, I've always been open. Everybody knows I supported Angasa in the race. Now that
you support her now?
You said what?
You support her now?
Do I support Angasa now?
No.
I support Angasa.
I'm sorry. You talk about Miss McKenzie. I thought you said Thomasina.
No, I said I supported Angasa during the
All right, so Miss
election.
McKenzie. Yeah. Okay.
So
McKenzie.
now that she's in office, my main concern about the whole lawsuit thing is to be honest, how can we hurry up, wrap this up? Because I don't like that people are using what I would say as an excuse broadly to say the reason why Charles County we're not passing legislation, we're not doing more is because we're all focused on this lawsuit. Last time I checked, all 5 commissioners are not in court every single day. They all have other jobs. They all do other things that they are not, their whole life has not been upended just because of this one lawsuit. I would love to see a more focus on legislation, focus on making our county better, and the lawsuit take a back seat. in my mind, let's just hurry up, wrap this up, get it over with, and start actually focusing more so on towards legislation.
So you're talking about governing, Carlos? You want to be able to, you want them to actually govern?
I mean, I hope that's what they got elected
That's
for.
something I've been hammering since, I want to say February. I actually sent out a text to a county commissioner probably sometime in the last 2-3 weeks that
Oh my God.
this
Because-
entire process has been upended by the lawsuit. No matter which side you sit on, the board's ability to govern is being hindered by the lawsuit. Now, in regards to what's going on with
Wait. What do you mean their ability to govern is being hindered by a lawsuit? I mean, they can all still vote on everything else.
It goes right back to what
As
you
far
just
as-
said.
well, not-
It's
as
a
far as
distraction.
personnel.
It's a distraction.
just that.
It's a
Yeah.
distraction.
Okay.
I mean, even having to go to mediation, like you said, they have other jobs. Okay, I think the only full-time commissioner is I don't know how he does it is Commissioner President Collins, and he has a law practice less than 1,000 feet away from the government building, which makes things a little convenient. And no slight on Ruben, but it's. Like I said, he has a full-time job, and he does that for the county as well. The other four have other things that they do. But the way I'm looking at it from the outside, actually, I'm not outside. I'm kind of like halfway in looking in. It's hindrance, and it's obstructionist. What's going on, depending on which way you look at it. The board needs to be able to govern, and I look forward to a resolution. That's why at the last meeting I spoke about that. It looks like it's coming to an end legally, and I hope, no matter what the legal process decides, that everybody accepts it.
Is that for
Oh
real?
my
Is
gosh!
it really?
Wait, hold
It's
up.
coming close.
Hold
It's
up,
coming
hold
close.
up. Someone is
Hold
on the
on.
podcast. Ricky, can I just mention something real quick?
Go ahead.
Ralph Patterson, you're on the podcast. Please, can you confirm
Is
your
Commissioner
friendship with Joseph Mank?
Is Commissioner
Because-
Patterson on here?
Ralph, can you confirm your friendship with Joseph Mank, please?
Why are you calling Ralph out?
He's in the
No,
podcast.
he's on the he commented on the
watching.
podcast.
Why do you guys have to see things I don't see?
He said, somebody said,
Yeah,
his name
Uh-oh.
out, show.
We got a seatbelt.
Where's Will Smith?
Seatbelts are mandated now, right?
Right. I just want, I mean,
how do you see things I don't see?
Oh, second. Well, the question itself is out there, so we'll let.
I mean,
that
I
answer. We'll go from there.
think friendship is subjective, and I think Ralph has the right to say whatever he says. I mean, him and I are friendly, and we're friends. We talk. Ralph. You speak for yourself, sir. And what did you say? Patterson's responsible for Patterson.
I didn't say that.
What you got for that, Carlos? You brought up the question. Is there?
No, I just
do
wanted
you
to
think
know.
it's a conflict of interest thing? It's an
Oh,
issue that.
no, I don't care who he's friends with. No, I just want to know.
I don't comprehend why it's a
I guess a
topic
lot
of
of
the
people
conversation.
consider, like, as far
Well, I
as
don't
the
know,
comment
'cause-
section, here's
yeah.
the thing too, as well, is that obviously Joseph Mank, you've been a controversial individual in the community.
I'd like to define
So-
what controversial
Hold
is
up,
and
Ricky.
what I've
Can I
done
say
to be
one thing?
controversial.
Ricky, can I say one thing
I'll let
before
the
you say
comment
that?
section get that too as well, but go on.
I didn't. Now, just putting out there, I did not ask it because what Ricky say, you're controversial. All da. I don't care. It's just I was asking because you do name drop a lot of people, so I'm trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out which of the commissioners may be the friends out here. just so I
BJ
can
and
know.
I have talked off the cuff a couple times before too. So I've talked to Amanda off the cuff. So I mean, I've talked to Ruben at Juneteenth. I've bumped into Thomasina a number of times. I mean, every single commissioner sits on that board I have spoken with privately. Every single one.
I want to get back to Thomasina. So
Oh no! So
that was all I
I know this is a spot where this could really get to.
So this is where Joe
And I-
dives on the grenade, and he's just gonna hope that he just blow up.
I don't want to do that right there. Like,
No, I mean,
have
it's
nothing, none of that. I just want to get to. I don't want to get into what's the word I'm looking for here. A little bit of a back and forth. I just want to. Obviously, you're not going anywhere. You're putting yourself on the cast.
I mean,
people are going to cast votes for you.
What makes you think I'm not going anywhere?
I got you on the podcast right here, right now. You're in the community every single, as far as meetings go. So
I'm also, I was in District 2 all last week.
I put it like this. All right. Well,
I'm not going to lie. I was dragging my girlfriend or her kids along, but I was still knocking on doors, going to businesses.
Well, the fact is that you're involved in the community. So one way or another, people are going to want to know about you.
Of course.
So that's part of the reason that he was asking, like, friendship, like, who's telling you these things? You keep mentioning
No.
not names, and then
Listen,
you said
I don't.
you're a
leak-
speechwriter, but you wouldn't tell us who
I
you
don't,
are.
I don't leak private conversations, and that's.
No, it ain't leak.
I don't. To me, if I tell someone who told me something, then I'm not. To me, that's leaking. Ralph and I are friends. I don't think that's something to be shamed of.
No, it's not. But this is what I'm saying right here is that
that
you're trying to be a public figure, but still being very private with a lot of things that should be public. Like, let's take it back to you said you were.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
No, don't cut me off. No, what's up? You're good.
Go ahead, sir.
You say you were a speechwriter on Capitol Hill. That people.
No. I never said I was a speechwriter for Capitol. I said I've done speechwriting. You gotta understand, there's two different phrases there.
On Capitol Hill.
No, I said I've poked around in Washington, and I asked him if he's ever been on Capitol Hill, and then you asked me when, where, wherever, and I said I have done some speechwriting. I never confirmed I did anything with any of that.
So here's the thing too, as well. It's one thing.
I could have done speechwriting for lobbyists.
You're good. Here's the thing that I have a problem with Coach too as well, and this is where I'm kind of getting. This is my problem. Is that the whole thing is when it comes to transparency. When it
I
comes
don't think she has any room left for any more arrows because she's had everyone she can get.
You keep over talking. Just easy, man.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's transparency when it comes to a lot of politicians. So obviously you're running for office. Your name's going to be on the ballot. I'm going to ask the same thing here from you too as well. Is that we ask for certain things. No, I can't say this. We ask for that. No,
what would you like to know?
There. As far as
pick a question, get an answer.
All right. So anything now.
Within reason. Go ahead.
Okay. So you keep not naming names as far as who told you this, who told you that, who told you not to come to podcast, things of that sort. We're just curious.
I was advised by more than one person. It would not do me. It's the same reason why people advise Lisa not to get on the podcast. It can only do you harm. It ain't going to do you any good.
But Lisa never said that people told her not to get on the podcast.
No, but it's the same reason Lisa did not get on the podcast. It was not going to do her any good. It was only going to do her harm.
See, but that's us implying that. That's not like she said for a fact, I'm not doing the podcast because X, Y, and Z. We don't know why Lisa didn't do the podcast. Yeah. Like, okay. I couldn't say why she didn't. I couldn't say why other commissioners or school board members or other people didn't.
I think every commissioner has been on here, but Commissioner Amanda.
I mean, I know it's not. I'm who's been on here.
And Ralph is new, and I can't speak for Ralph. Ralph may come on at some point. He may not. I don't know.
Here's the thing: is that my whole thing is that you're going to be on the ballot. If everyone doesn't know that, there's nothing stopping him from being on there.
I mean, the SSO will be followed by Friday, so.
So obviously, with you being
buying signs,
you being an individual you pissed off a lot of people in the
I want to know that.
Well.
You mentioned that to me off the cuff. So how
look
am I
pissed off? Look at the comment section,
people?
goddammit.
I mean, I can't read it.
We can go back over it too as well. For time, I'm not going to go through every single name, but people can call you out. Obviously, you call Pascal. There's like 5 comments for that right
I'm
there.
not worried about her.
As well. See, but you say that too as well. You're running for office.
Yeah, that's
like you got to be like, why do that?
And can I say one thing?
She's super involved as far as kids, parents, things. That's.
I mean, Pascal is an amazing. I'm sorry, Rick. I didn't mean
no. It's not. There's so much. I'm not even like the personality of it, but just why do that?
I mean,
why create that political?
It's not about that. I just realized a long time ago that you can't keep everybody happy.
No, you can't keep everybody happy.
So it's like at some point you just something. I'm not going to sit here and try to give everybody an ice cream cone.
Yeah, but why create an issue you don't have to?
It's not an issue. It's. I'm just not going to dive in. I'm not going to dive into it. I mean, and
it's not just that. It's like people who are Democratic side, people who are Republican side that just don't want much to do with you. Even Allie tonight posted to reopen. She said that Allie posted to reopen. She said that I'm tired of people giving you a platform. So essentially, and you got people that would be more liberal, people more on the right. It's the same.
Hold on,
thing
who said that?
Well. Allie, reopen.
Allie, I'm not worried about her.
Well, see, that's the thing too as well. Why? But why though?
Why should I?
But why piss off so many people when you're running for office? School board too as well.
I already know why Allie doesn't like me. That's a private matter, so I already know why Ellie doesn't like me, so I'm not really concerned about it.
Yeah, but thing is that with that too as well is the people that support her that immediately you say that just won't vote for you.
No, okay, I'm not going to dive into that. That's a shot in the dirt. I'm not going to swing at it.
I'm not saying what happened or what not, but
but
if you're going to remain the politician that you said you were.
No, but the thing is though, you have to try to look towards the masses and you have to try to stay above the cut. So when I get involved with other people, maybe I shouldn't shoot back at them. I agree with you on that. But at the same time, I'm really, these are the same reasons some of my closest friends have told me that, hey, Joe, this is a bad idea. Because they're going to shoot at you. And I'm like, all it's going to do is turn into a disaster. And that's why, because people are going to come at me. But to me, I can stand the heat, so I'll stand in the kitchen.
I mean, that's already happened as far as people coming at you.
I already know it.
This is what I know.
But somebody doesn't. Only probably 6 or 7 people know this. I had some death threats after Thomasina Coates said something nice about me in a meeting. Only thing Thomasina Coates did was say something nice. The fact that I wasn't piling on top of her, I wasn't coming after her. I wasn't joining the mob with the pitchforks. She said, "Mr. Mank, Thank you for being neutral and staying neutral. That's all she said. And I got one death threat and probably somewhere between a half dozen and a dozen nasty grams within 12 hours of that meeting.
And these are things that you can post. And
No, because I'm not like other individuals. I'm not going to say things. This isn't public. I'm getting ready to reiterate what I'm going to say. I'm not going to stand up and say, oh, this happened to me and I need to do all this other things because I someone threatened my life. This happened a month ago.
No, I mean, that's what's going on then.
No, it's fine.
Even Zebby said here, like, why not file?
I talked to Troy about it. So
police report all that too as well?
I don't need it. I already talked to Troy about it. So he said if it happens again, he said you can report it. And I said, no, I'm not comfortable doing that at this time. He says, okay, if it happens again, you need to let me know. And he actually gave me the phone number to someone that works directly for him. I got Troy's personal number, but he said, hey, call this guy if this happens again. I mean, it was an ambiguous threat. It was probably somebody who had too much to drink or someone didn't like the conversation. I don't know. I don't know what goes on inside crazy people's minds.
So here's the thing too as well, and we'll kind of move on from this. Is that
I want to stay on the coach thing now.
We'll go back to that. But as far as yourself, like you have to, you're running for office. You have to be as open as possible. Like especially coming from not like a county name like coach and things of that sort. So when people hear things like that, they're like, all right, cool.
There's
show us the
only one Mank in
proof.
Charles County,
You mention names. All right, show us the proof. Who's telling you these things? Show us the name. That's the same thing that we. And you got to show me right now. You can send that to me afterwards, and we can work from there. But at least provide it. You can provide it on your own too as well. But if you say it, people are gonna call you out on it. And if you don't provide it, they're gonna look at you as a liar. So they see your name on a school board ballot here in a year and a half or so, it's gonna be very hard for you to be like, hey, trust me with your kids.
No, I'm with you on that. And this is something I've been trying to avoid. I have to keep in consideration where the comments and the questions and the remarks are coming from.
Just normal
No.
citizens.
The point is that I have to consider where they're coming from. And I'll just break it down. I'm getting to that little Joe shifting up moment here because I've watched that podcast probably like 50 times at this point. When I shift up, I'm getting real. Joe's gonna get real here. When I give a speech in front of the Board of Education, when I give a speech in front of the Board of Education, as I'm walking out the door, the chief of security for the Charles County school system grabs me, but hey, can you come over and chat with me? Jason Stoddard says, hey, you have some good ideas. I want to help you. I got some information for you. Where's my wallet at?
I don't. Why did you throw
That's his card.
I don't.
No,
What the
that's
hell am
Jason's
I going
card.
to
So
do
my
with this
point
damn
is this,
card?
is that you're
And don't
looking
throw
at me
shit
like
at
I'm
me.
lying, like I'm lying to you.
Because you what
My
do you?
point is that when people come up to me unsolicited and say, I want to help you, I didn't seek these individuals out.
just threw a damn
They
card
like
at
my
me.
ideas. They
sure
like what I
sense.
have to say. I speak and people come to me. I get more messages of encouragement than I get of discouragement.
That doesn't include the death threats though.
I mean, that's somebody just saying, hey, I know where you live. You have a blue Mank sign on your window. So apparently they know I have a blue Mank sign on my window. But the point is that I don't take them seriously. They're at the kids' table.
Thank you, Tierra.
Is that Miss
Carlos,
Hall?
what do you think, man?
No, I'm stuck. Well, one, I don't know why you felt the need to throw the card at me.
No, I wasn't trying to. I thought it was going to land in your lap.
I just didn't understand that. I mean,
Because you were looking at me like I was a liar.
I'm not looking at you as a liar. One, it's kind of like no proof of like if
There's
I
the
keep,
receipt. I tried
if
to
I,
give you the
well,
receipt.
no. You showing me a business card of the person you say you talked to does not really prove that you had the conversation with them. It's because like I can get that guy's. I can say, hey, excuse me, can I get your business card real quick because you're the head of security? And I have to take his card and I say I talked to him. Da da da. I'm not saying that's what you did. I'm not saying that's not what you did. What I think Ricky's getting to is that to keep saying like I have conversations with these people who tell me this, these people who tell me this, but it's never like. And then to push it as like these are important people who make decisions, but then it's like no one knows who these people are. It does give that like
If you're not sitting at the table,
hold on. It gives that impression of like smoke-filled rooms and talking to people in secret, but then it also leaves the public like, is that really true that these conversations are happening, or are you saying it? And it's not on me to say whether you really have these conversations or not. To me personally, I don't really, I don't honestly care if you're having these conversations with these people or
shit.
not. To me, what matters most to me has always been legislation, what policies you're putting forward, what's your plan on if you run for office, on helping whatever area it is you run for office for. I don't care who you have conversations with, whether it be you're having a conversation with Joe Biden. Personally, I could care less.
I don't think there would ever be a conversation with Joe Biden and I.
But to Ricky's other point about pissing off both sides of the party, I'll say this. As someone who does have controversial, I wouldn't say my views are controversial. I think my views are supported by the majority of the working class people.
Carlos, your positions are solid.
Hold on. Thank you.
Your positions are solid.
But my thing is this, that even I can have conversations with the most right-wing person and still say,
besides
hey,
Bill Dotson.
I can even have a conversation with him. Now, is there a point to having the conversation with him? Who knows? But I can have conversations with the most right-wing person, with the most left-wing person, and still we both come out of it saying, all right, cool. We respect each other. We just have a difference of opinion. I think when it goes into, hey, these are my ideas, this is my platform, and then it comes into people just, now it's like a personal issue, I don't understand how it gets to that point. Because at my point, it's like, I've had a conversation with Stacy, and she's on here. Stacy knows me and her disagree on probably a whole myriad of things. Yet we don't have any
What's
personal...
that word you keep using? It's not a word that's in my vocabulary.
Myriad?
Is it M-Y-R-I... Sorry, M-Y-R-A-I-D?
That's not the point of this. So
I'm just trying to get the word right because the vocabulary is a little off.
Yes, we will do that. So the point is that I disagree on a whole host of things with Stacy, yet we still have cordial conversations with each other and talk about things that are going on. And it's
Stacey and I do too.
And it's not a personal issue of like, oh, nah, we have personal issues with each other. I just don't, as someone running for office, I don't see how it always gets to that, or not always, but how it gets to that personal issue.
Did you think that happens with me?
You said it did. Like you just said between you and Allie, that's a personal thing. Between
Allie's
you and this
not running
person.
for office.
No, I'm not saying, oh Lord, you're running for office. I'm saying as someone who's running for office, I don't know how it always gets to these personal issues.
No,
with
Allie
these
has a personal
people.
issue with me. I have no issue with Allie.
Okay.
Can I give you some advice?
Sir?
Now, this is could be solicited, unsolicited. I don't know. But let me take it back. What do you think your perception of yourself is? Before I give you a little bit of advice here.
I mean, my perspective of myself has always been the same person I've always been. Like
in the county, like as far as the people.
It's 50-50. It's always been 50-50. I split. It's
50-50 what?
It's polar. People either love me or they hate me. It's always been that way, since I was like 12 years old.
Well, I'm just talking. Well, that
I have star supporters, and as much as I have star supporters, I have people that would literally love to see my head on a pike.
Well, first of all, I don't wish that upon.
Yeah, no one wishes that.
I'm just telling you.
But I guess,
metaphysically.
I mean, I'm just telling you that I
yeah.
know there are people that believe in me and they trust me and they see my vision and my intelligence and they back me.
Do you think the vote will reflect that?
I believe the more I speak, the more I show the contrast between myself and my future opponent. That will be the entire difference.
Well, I would say this.
Because my future opponent does not speak, so...
Well, if you keep speaking, you may hurt yourself too as well.
Oh, have I gone down that road?
I would say that you're standing in accounting as far as your credit. I've been in both sides of the county too as well, Democrat, Republican. It's not very great. At
least I'm not Duran Tross.
I would say Duran Tross probably has a little more pull than you do right now. My God.
Then I'm going to take that as a slight.
well, that's a good question
That's not
in
a
the
slight.
chat.
That's just.
I'd like to know why. I'd like to know why.
I would say at this point, and especially
explain
reading
yourself.
these comments too as well, and just what I know, just coming in to as well. As far as a lot of you, I think sometimes you push a little bit too much. I think that people feel like you come with a lot of things but no ideas. We asked for a platform tonight. You didn't really provide one. You announced you're running for school board. School board is obviously a very hot issue. You did bring some things as far as like photo ops, things of that sort that you feel like school board's not really getting
I don't think that
you're not really providing a platform as far as the podcast to us to get ready for that.
My platform.
This is what I'll say though. This is what I'll say, and just man to man. Why run? Why not just be involved in meetings and learn as much as you can? I don't think you should personally. I think it could be a mistake for yourself. And going against Lucas too as well,
I mean, the advantage of Luke
Dude,
is I get to split that vote, though. I can split that vote.
Yeah, but split the vote with who? Who are you working with right now? What are you talking about? Who else is running right now? Who was announced?
I mean, I'm going to be the first person that's going to be on the State Board of Elections.
And if people see that you went from county of clerk to school board, they're just looking at you like you just want to run.
It's an interim. It's an interim.
But they just look at you just want office. Like we don't really want.
What's the next thing? Congress? I mean, the only thing we have in 24 is Congress or school board. That's all we have.
But that's what it's saying right there. The people think you just want to run, just to have an office.
Can I mention the one thing that you said? Because that, to me personally,
Carlos, you have the floor, Fred.
To me personally, I have a disagreement with your view of like, or from your statement just to say I'm running for school board because there's nothing else during the presidential election.
So given the presidential election.
During the presidential
yes,
election, there's nothing else for you to run for but school board. I think to a lot of people, not just people watching, but people just in Charles County, I don't think people want to see people to run to say, hey, I'm running because there's nothing else up. I'm running.
I think it's my way to serve.
Hold on. I'm running because I see X, Y, and Z needs, and here's my policy legislative proposals to the county to say, here's how I want to fix these problems. It's not just because there's no clerk of court or there's no commissioner or like any other elections coming up that I'm just running because.
I mean, I think you misspoke a little bit, but I'm going to just step aside to it for a moment. To me, in 24, I wanted to run in 22 because I wanted to serve.
Okay.
I wanted to serve. I mean, like I said, I'm a middle-class guy. I'm making the $70,000 range. I'm middle class, and I sometimes struggle like a lot of people that are middle class do. But the thing is, though, there are people out there that do a lot less than I do. And I have a legal background, and that's the reason I ran for clerk at the circuit court. Now, not trying to give my friend, Miss Yates, a lot of credit. I think she's doing a fantastic job as clerk of court. I visited her office. Her and I talked about some things that I'm not going to disclose, but I think she's doing a fantastic job. But I think that I want to continue my vision towards success in politics. And I don't want to wait 3 years to have to run again.
But
I want to serve
you
now.
know what that sounds like, though?
I want to serve now. I don't want to wait another 3 years. I want to wait a year.
Here's the thing:
I want to serve now.
Here's what I'll give you. Do I think you have passion for the community? Yes. Do I think it's misguided? Yes. Like you're at every single event as far as the meetings go. That goes for a lot more than a lot of residents in this county, myself included.
And I speak at every meeting, and I speak well at most meetings.
Well, you also speak to as well. But the thing is that you have like going from clerk to this to say that I don't want to wait. I want to run now. How does that sound like?
I want to serve.
Yeah, you could serve by doing other things, though. You don't serve by
there's a lot of different ways to serve. Like it's activists out here. It's organizations.
This is personal to me. The school board is personal to me. I have my girlfriend that is a teacher. Her ex-husband, who's also a very good friend of mine, is a school teacher. That thing that happened at Westlake scared the living crap out of me. There's things that happened over at another elementary school. Fortunately, nothing's happened at the elementary school around the corner. Listen, I want to take action. I'm angry and I'm frustrated. And listen, I'm not going to sit there and whine and cry on social media. I'm not going to sit there and put together half-ass freaking legislative proposals without any action plan. I want to roll up my sleeves and actually do something. So guess, that's where I'm at.
But okay, I understand that. And
I'm not going to wait another 3 years. I'm going to wait 1 year.
Okay, so what that sounds like to a lot of people, and this is just my personal opinion.
Oh, I want to take action now?
Okay, so what you said in how I digest it and how I believe a lot of people just overall digest it is that I want to serve. It's my personal mission that I want to do. No matter if it's like I believe I can help a situation, I believe I have a policy platform to move forward. It's about me. It is the same way that personally I look at a lot of politicians who run for let's look at the Republican primary. Not comparing you to them.
Please
but
don't.
I'm just saying
I've
it's a lot of
already trashed
people.
two Republicans
It's
today.
a lot of people running in the Republican primary who are just running because they feel like, me personally, I deserve to be president. I want to serve as president. Me. And you don't hear a lot
my
of.
turn.
And you don't hear a lot of. I want to serve because these are the problems that I see, and here's my.
That's what I'm saying,
hold up.
Carlos.
And here's my solutions to fix it. What you just said is, I don't want to wait 3 years to
I
be in
want
office.
to fix problems now, and I don't want to wait 3 years
But
to
there's
solve
other ways
problems
to
now.
fix
There's
problems.
other ways to fix problems
I'm
than
not
being
going to
in
kick
office.
down doors. I'm going to get elected so I can have a voice to be able to get stuff done.
But you have
Everyone who
you
gets
have a
elected
voice.
doesn't get
I
stuff
want my
done.
voice to be louder.
Look,
But see how that sounds? It's just
Go ahead.
me. I want. It's not like, if your whole message was, I want to run for school board at large because these are the problems and here are my solutions to fix them, I would understand that. But the majority of what you have said has been, I don't want to wait 3 more years to serve. I want to serve now.
I want to solve problems now.
But
you don't need to be.
you don't have to. I think you're not understanding. You don't have to be in office to solve problems. It's a lot of people who solve problems without being in office. It's a lot of people who do advocacy, nonprofits, organizing.
And what's the effectiveness?
All right, so let's
You've
put it like
seen.
this.
Hold up.
Go ahead.
The whole rent stabilization move throughout the state had started from
Baltimore County,
no, not just Baltimore County, Mount Rainier, Prince George's County, Laurel. It has started from everyday activists and renters fighting for stuff to push politicians to do the
Stand by
right
for a second,
thing.
please.
A lot of things that start out.
Can I
isn't
ask
just-
you what the
hold on,
biggest-
Hold
Easy,
on.
easy. We're good.
A lot of things that happen are not just because someone got in office and they're pushing it. A lot of times it starts from people on the grassroots level and activists and organizers saying, no, we're going to make you do these policies. We're going to make sure that you pass these policies. A lot of people, when they get in office, they really don't do any. They will run on the most wonderful platforms, but then get in office and say, oh, this is comfy up in here.
Because they're not making themselves accountable to the people that got them in office. And that's one thing I'll give BJ credit for. The same thing I give Ralph Patterson credit for. Same thing I'll actually give all 5 of them credit for. But I'll also ask you this. You know the biggest rent stabilization project in the United States in history of this country? You know what it was?
Please just go ahead and say it,
was-
because, yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Oh, my gosh.
It was the projects. Who wants to move to the projects? Who wants to move next to the projects?
Wait, hold up.
That's
We're
the
not gonna-
biggest.
You are not
that is
going to
the biggest.
classify.
That is the
Oh my
biggest
gosh.
rent stabilization project in the
Lord.
United States. Who wants to move to the projects? People want to move out of the projects. People want to move away from where the projects are at.
So you think you can only have rent stabilization in projects? Is that
Now,
what
I'm
you're
not
thinking?
saying that, but that was the biggest implementation of that process that you're talking about.
Yo, hold a second. Hold up. Hold up.
Wow.
Who wants to move into?
Oh my God.
Yo, hey, at this point, you're about to cross a line.
Yeah.
You've already crossed several lines, but damn, dude, for real?
Wow. Like,
I'm telling you the truth.
wow. Like, no.
I'm not saying it doesn't do good for people, but who wants to move into that?
Oh my gosh. No one is saying move into. Wow. How did you?
It's
Yo,
data.
I literally don't even know how to respond to that. That
you're
is
giving
wild
off some. Hey,
to me.
Michaela said, read that comment right there.
Which one?
You're giving
well.
off some real strange energy right now.
I mean,
No, that's not what Michaela
it's
said.
mathematics. It's
Hey, look.
mathematics.
Okay.
Hey, what she said was anti-black, but for me, that's just real weird energy too as well.
I didn't know that only
because
people of a certain color move in.
Nah, it's not that. She was kind of throwing it out there, kind of like a life raft. Like, check this out. But I don't think you really saw how that really came out.
No. I mean,
Here, let me ask you this, and we're not going to be at this too much longer. Let me ask you this: do you feel like that your life has no purpose without holding office?
No.
So then, if that's the case, then why not try to do other things to run?
No, I want to double back to that.
No. We're not done back of that. That's not. No. Absolutely not. No, we're not.
I mean,
doing
I didn't mean
that.
it.
We're not doing that.
I didn't mean to come off that. I at
No,
least want to
we're
be
good.
able to.
We're good, man. We're good. Just
No, I
chill
want to be
out.
able to
No.
clarify what you just kind of said something that kind of like stuck something in the mud.
You've already said what you said.
No, but I want to be able to clarify.
You want to go double back on that, Carlos? What are we doing here?
Don't look at Carlos. Carlos didn't say anything.
No.
Carlos is a proud supporter
No.
of rent
What I'm
stabilization,
trying to
everyone.
say is that the biggest part of rent stabilization was the government getting involved in stabilizing rents. And the people who live in those environments don't want to live there. It's a matter of fact. It's scientific data. It doesn't matter what you look like, how much money you make, or whatever. It's a matter of fact.
There are people who do not live in the projects who have rent stabilization.
Where?
Oh my God!
Give me a zip code. Give me one zip code.
Gosh. So
one zip code.
So when Prince George's County put in their rent stabilization, it only affects people who live in low-income areas. Prince George's County does not have one zip code. It is a lot of people who rent in Prince George's County. And what I said is when hold on. My question towards you: do you think when Prince George's County put in their rent stabilization legislation that only affects people who live in low-income areas? And are you also saying that anyone who has rent stabilization wouldn't want to live in the area that they live in?
I think they want to live.
No. Do they want to live in that area that has rent stabilization?
I think they want a home. I think they want a place to live. I think they want a place to send their kids to school. I don't think that's where they really want to be. That's where they are actually at.
So what is your plan for rents? So what proposals do you have for renters in order to help them?
The man's running for school board. What does that do for the kids of Charles County? What are you talking about here? Like everything is like just all
circular.
Over. It's just look, man. I'll let you wrap it up here. We're gonna wrap it up here soon, but before
I understand.
I think everybody starts seeing enough in these past 2 hours if they're gonna vote Mank or not.
I'm not worried about it because I'm not running.
What's that?
I'm not running. This was just a test run.
Wait, hold a second.
This was a joke, guys. Thank you. What? There was an old phrase back in the late 2000s.
Don't do it. Just don't.
No, I'm not running for nothing. This was a test run. Just to get people riled up.
Oh my God. Dude.
I'm running for clerk of the circuit court in 2026. Lisa Yates, you better get on your game.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen everything that we needed to tonight. Ladies too, as well.
I guess. Well, Rick. Can I make
no, honestly, rent stabilization.
Ricky, can I
rent stabilization really comes down to this really simple.
No, hey, Mank, I'm going to cut your mic off. Let Lowe's get this and go from there. I think you already done enough. I think you already done enough.
Well, then, Ricky, you might not want me to say what I want to say. Because I actually would love to have at least a small conversation about how do you think, or what is your idea or proposal to help renters dealing with increasing rent costs? When you see people who rent, when they go to renew their lease, seeing it being raised $200, $300, $400. What is your plan, I guess, to help people if you don't believe that rent stabilization is only for low-income areas?
So let me ask you this. I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to ask you a question in rebuttal. I think the market will bear certain things, but I also believe that you should also not have to say, let's say you're paying $1,800 now, and you should have to pay $2,500 next year. So the way you combat this is this. Joe's getting his mind back together. So the way you combat this is with two different levels. One, you put a time frame in there, 90, 120, 180 days in advance. So now you have a choice as a consumer. If I am as a property owner, I say, Carlos, you and your family, you got 180 days. I'm going to jack your rent up to 10%. I'm going to give you ample time to either make this contract or you make another choice. Two, the other thing is you also put a cap on how much you can jump the rent up.
Well, hold up. So you just said that you agree with a version of either rent or rent control. Hold up. But you just said that with someone who lives in the projects, they get rent stabilization. They don't want it. But then you just said that.
No. You're talking about ultimate rent control, not talking about controlled rent control or legislative rent control. There's three different concepts here. You just can't do everything clean and cut, just like you do legislative proposals. You just write something down on a piece of paper and just toss it up and ask other people?
Not really. I research them. I make sure I know what's happening. And I also look to other counties and other areas that do it. So let's first start right there. My point is this.
Going back to the rent control thing.
Oh, this is the last point, by the way, too, as well.
What time is it, by the way?
It's
10:02.
Oh, well, you know it's 10:02. It's past my bedtime. All right, this is
so what I'm getting to is that with rent control,
I'm gonna pull a Derek Terry here too as well. Also, I've been holding the piston for the past 15 minutes.
Can we take a 5-minute break? Can I get back?
No, hell no. This podcast will be over in about 1 minute. All right, this is what's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
I am about to end this right here.
Did I piss you off?
No, I got to go piss. That's what I got to do.
Oh, so with a 5-minute break I asked for earlier that you could have easily crammed.
What was this? A man at a goddamn commissioners meeting? No.
So I want to say thank you to everyone who supported and participated in the legislative proposals process. We need as many public as many real working class people to get involved in their government as possible.
I will say in closing, I'm not running for school board, so we'll see what goes from there. I want to thank everybody for listening to me. I'm glad I got some attention for the topics that Carlos presented. Just got to get him a little bit of a floor so we can get some more elevation of those things. Sometimes you do things.
And it's that little like slight shit that you say that honestly I understand why like some people may have an issue, because it's like that was something that was not necessary to make it seem like it's like you being on here gives me a platform that I need to raise my legislative
half
proposals.
the things you propose I agree with, so maybe I'm trying to elevate the issues. Maybe I'm trying to elevate the propositions.
No, that's not.
There's many ways to skin a cat, Carlos.
No, when we look to the legislative proposals, the majority of it was you disagreeing with the proposals. It was not you coming up and say, I agree with this, you all should adopt this. I agree with this, you all should do X, Y, and Z. It was, I disagree, we need to meet in the middle, which honestly, the term meet in the middle does not mean anything at all. That is just a slogan. That's just something that you say.
Yo, question for the chat. Anybody do anything in about the next 30 minutes? Y'all want to go to Silver Diner, grab a drink or something?
Ooh.
Anybody
Silver
do
Diner?
Let's
go to Hunt's Tavern.
We may change the location.
Let's go to Hunt's Tavern. Make's going to Hunt's Tavern.
Just text
You
me.
been saying too much.
Yeah, just
Make's going to Hunt's Tavern.
Yeah.
BJ Bowling, get out of the farm. Let's go up.
Oh yeah, he'll be right there. Yo, so if I can, so what? Obviously, let me bring this back into as
jokes.
well. What's the overall goal with this podcast, BNY Charles County? It's just essentially to show you who's eventually going to be on your ballot, or who's in the community making moves as far as politicians, legislation, sports, things of that sort. Anything as far as anyone involved in community events. Juneteenth, Pascal, she came on with Hispanic Heritage Month too as well. Just anything in the community, we try to get involved with. And it's my job here. I feel that my role, at the very least, is show you that who you have to choose from.
I mean,
hold a second, man. This is my closing statement, and that's it. I feel tonight that one way or another, the job was done as to show you who's in the community. And then from there, we let community decide what to do. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank Carlos.
Thank you so much.
Joseph Mank for being here too as well.
Thank you for
Cooper Construction once again for hosting this, for actually allowing us to use the space too as well. We'll be back in the space. I think we'll be here a little bit more often. It's summertime now. My schedules will open up a little bit more, so you'll see more than just a podcast a month or two a month, and things of that sort. Different guests, different variety, different flavors. People in the comment section too as well. Easy in the comment section too as well. Definitely appreciate everything you did for us tonight. Share the podcast. It's important for everybody to see exactly what's in their community. It's very important that way. When it's ballot time, you know which way to go. And no, when it's last run the podcast for me, BNY showrunner on the platform, we'll run that from there. I thank you very much. I got nothing but love for y'all, nothing but love for Charles County. Y'all got my number. Y'all can text me. Y'all been texting me. Continue to text me. Hell, y'all can even call me afterwards. I'll be up for another 3-4 hours. I don't know. We'll see. More than likely, probably so. So thank you very much. Nothing but love for District 2, all of Charles County, and everybody out there watching. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Let me move this switch over here. Bring that up. And we will be back here in, I don't know, shortly. We'll see. I'll post on social media, and we'll go for there. But thank you very much for everything, as always. Charles County, you have a good night.